This is the captain. We have a little problem with our entry sequence, so we may experience some slight turbulence and then explode.
My boss said to me, "You are the worst train driver ever. How many trains have you derailed this year?" And I said, I don't know. It's hard to keep track."
Oh, fucking hell.
If you think swimming with dolphins is expensive, you should try swimming with sharks. It cost me an arm and a leg.
Oh.
A fairly appropriate joke for this week, actually.
Yeah, maybe. I also warned my friend not to open a pastry shop without any experience. It's been over a year now, and he's still struggling to make a turnover.
Fuck my life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Black Dog version 2, episode 100. 100 weeks of this shit, which means it's been 100 weeks since we all went into lockdown.
Nearly 2 years, man. Well, just over 2 years.
Yeah.
Just over 2 years.
Just
actually.
over 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, we've missed a week here or there, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. So on average, we're there.
Insert GIF of fireworks here.
Yeah, or GIF of old man Steve Rogers just sitting on a bench going, "No, I don't think I will." Anyway, so I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week we'll be finding out how everyone's fortnight's been, because we weren't here last week. And then what we'll do is we will move on to this week's movie, which was your pick, Dal.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it? Wasn't it? It was your pick. Go on, take ownership.
For 100 as well, member.
For 100.
Yeah, for 100.
You know,
yeah,
celebration, good times,
a
parties,
real-
sunshine, lollipops.
Yep, that's right. Yep, this is a real fucking. This was the doozy of a party. This was.
Yeah, and it was.
Balloons.
That was Possum. That was Police Academy 6.
Mission to Moscow. Yeah, Operation Miami Beach. Anyway, yeah, it's Possum. So yeah, and as Jim said, there was balloons. So woo, 100.
Yeah, there was actually.
There's the theme. There's the theme.
Yes.
Anyway, so we'll get to that as soon as we've done with our fortnight week thing. And yes, so we will start going through that, and we'll start with Jim, because last week, Jim, or when we last met, you were frantically backing up your laptop for reasons unknown.
And I thought
Clearing your
the
browsing
main
history.
desktop.
Okay, the main desktop. You were backing that up. So how's it going, Jim? How's your week?
Well, yes, I did. Well, a catastrophic week. Pretty much. Well, no, last time the telly had just died, which needed replacing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then my computer decided to go on the wall. Literally took me 2 days to actually get the thing to boot again.
Fuck.
Not entirely sure what went wrong. I heavily suspect it might have been something to do with the janky Windows update.
Well, seeing
It will be.
as we had issues before we started recording with the janky Windows update fucking me up, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah. It seems to have caused a memory error and then got into a cycle where it went into Windows automatic repair, which did fuck all. And it just goes into an endless loop, and then eventually the machine goes, "I'm not doing this anymore."
It's too hot. I'm going to bed.
Go fuck it. But I did get it working again, and then made sure. I mean, I do have like a proper backup system in place of a hard drive. Overnight, it backs up after new. But that's usually the main work. There's also like tons of stuff just lying around that I've grabbed from here and there, or I'm working on just little things on my desktop, like notes and I've made and shit. Everything all need to be rounded up and moved to a new machine. So I thought I got it working again. It worked for 2 days, and the same error again happened. It was kind of okay. This kind of these files are actually corrupt, which means I've got to bin a whole section of the podcast. It's kind of Right, it's sounded bad, but we're getting I'm buying a new desktop. This is my work machine. I've had it over 7 years. It's worked very hard, but it's time for a new one. So, yes, if you hear of a Rob Post Office, it wasn't me, basically. Well, I've been an awful lot of moving files and faffing on setting up the new machine. It's kind of, oh, dear me, God, it's such a pain in the ass. Moving the licenses for various bits of software I have for doing music and video and
oh, God,
everything. And that when it works well, it works very well. But other people have to email them and get them to send you a new key and shit like this. Sometimes some things I'm just not even bothered to. Just too much fucking hassle with just for like a little plug-in for, you know what I mean? It's kind of like all these digital signatures and it's kind of, for fuck's sake, no one really cares. Come on.
No,
I got this free with a bit of hardware, but no one bought it, so why has this got more security than Fort Knox?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got actually two. Since I've got the new one, obviously the old PC is behaving good as gold.
Of course it is.
Suddenly, it was like literally I just sort of finished installing everything on the new machine, and then I came up and found the old machine had restarted itself, and hey, I've just done an update and everything's all fine again. Really? Is it? Really? You got the patch update coming, is it? It fucking is, isn't it?
Yeah. Bastards. Fucking hell.
Well, okay. I did need a new machine because I just actually got around to working on it the last couple of days. Kind of, this is much better. I click things and like programs open straight away thanks to the SSD drive and twice nice. RAM and shit. And it's kind of this is better. So the old one I still use for like general dog's body, and I'll probably clear a lot of stuff off and keep it as my Plex server for all various bits of media to other devices around the house.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep, that shouldn't be too taxing for it.
Yeah,
that's his retirement plan.
Yeah, he's gone to live on a farm. Cool. And what else, sir? Anything else been happening? Or has that just consumed your entire week?
Yes. Bad things break, they come in threes. I mean, a friend of my mum's, and I always laughed about this, when something in her household broke, she'd go and like literally go and get an old cup and old grass and break two more. Because she things break in threes. Yeah. Now, I'm thinking I should have done that when the telly broke, because that would have saved me a good chunk of money buying a new PC. Yeah. But also, just was about to leave the house to go to Teresa's kitchen floor's a bit wet.
Oh,
really?
No.
Yep. And so typically on a Friday when you can't get any bastard to do anything during a heat wave, our kitchen developed a water leak. So I had a fun weekend trying to find out where the fucking leak was coming from. It was literally coming up under the floorboards. And it was actually a pipe right at the back behind the sink cabinet that developed a leak. So everything there that whole cabinet was rotten now, so that's brilliant. And God knows how long it's just been dripping before it actually just made its way and sort of welded its way up under one of the kitchen floor tiles.
Oh, shit.
So that was another huge chunk of money gone. So again, if you hear of a post office being robbed, it definitely wasn't me, okay?
No. Don't look at me, Gov. By the way, I've got a new sink, a new floorboards, new cupboards.
Thankfully, it wasn't too much actual damage. I mean, basically, the back of the kitchen cupboard was warped and fucked, but everything else is kind of just dried out okay. We will replace it at some point, but we couldn't afford to go. Is it all that muppetry?
Is it at this point we should mention that Hypnagoria has a Patreon page? Yeah.
It's been an expensive month.
Yeah. So if you listen to Jim on here and on Hypnagoria on his own fine podcast, and you think, I should give him a couple of quid to say thank you, probably now would be the good time
That would be an excellent time. I'm hoping to afford to do something for the rest of the year.
Yeah, unless you want the podcast coming over in sort of carrier pigeon form. Cool. Okay. Well, hopefully that's the end of it. And the curse.
Thankfully, I say it was a very stressful week, shall we say?
Yeah,
to say the least. And kind of, I don't think I should be in that. I'm in the wrong game here.
Yeah.
The plumber charged me for like half an hour's work. It's kind of.
Oh God, yeah.
If I was a plumber, I'd work 2 days a month. I swear to God.
Yeah, and now we're going to get plumbers writing in. Oh, actually. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, sir?
No.
Okay.
I think.
Fine. Okay. If we hear any dripping, we'll let you know. I can hear it. Anything through the background there. All right then. Well then, let's move on to Elton. Sir, how's your week / fortnight been?
Well, I've had some technical issues with a website.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, flipping hell. Okay, so it's...
Hold on.
God damn it.
I mean, they normally just let you sort of sign up with a credit card, mate, nowadays.
Yeah, I gave my email, didn't I?
Oh.
That was my... I was lured in. It was like, all you have to do is give your email and then all the website will be open. It's like, well, what harm can this do?
Yes.
Dear.
How could this possibly go wrong? Nigerian prince, you say?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
No, it was. I've been using. No, okay, right. Let's get a bit technical.
Okay.
By the way, Jim, I need your help later on. Maybe not tonight, but during the week, if that's possible.
No problem.
He's finally taking those TVs out the loft.
Oh no, not yet. No, they're still in there. But I've been using FeedBurner almost ever since I ever started podcasting. Now, that won't mean a single thing to anyone, I reckon. But that came back to bite me this weekend.
Right.
And it's been faithful for like 12 years.
Yeah.
But now it's bitten me, and they've changed all their coding and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, I got a message from Andy saying, the artwork's not coming up on iTunes on certain podcasts. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I go over to iTunes, and everything that I have has no artwork. I'm like, fuck. And so it works out that it's this FeedBurner thing. So then I have to sit down and work out exactly how I can change it, and then basically lost 2 days trying to work it out and do it through WordPress.
Yeah.
So it's all good, but man alive, can't we just put an image in and it work? That's all I want.
Well, the thing is, and not wishing to get too technical here, but what was the resolution of your images?
I think they're well above what iTunes minimum requirement is.
Because they need to be 2500 by 2500 now.
Yeah, I think mine are like 3,000.
Okay. This is riveting podcasting.
I know. Sorry,
Lee and Elton talk about screen resolutions.
Actually, I think you'll find I'm 500 pixels over what they are demanding at the moment.
Yes. And the other thing is also, what kind of kilobit limit are you putting on your JPEGs with compression, sir?
Now, that's a question I do not know, but it hasn't been rejected.
Okay, let's all sit down and talk about algorithms and compression.
Why can't Apple fucking scale the image like every other bastard? Oh no, we want something the size of a soccer pitch, please, because people watch it on their telly. Fuck off.
That's right.
Sorry.
So that kind of killed 2 days, but
shit. Right.
I got it sorted in the end and made some updates, which was nice. Well, overdue updates. So the fire is out at the moment, but it is smouldering. It's like a what is it called? Compost heap. You know, where the residual heat is inside.
A marsh fire.
It's waiting to happen. But The fire is out, but there's a little bit of steam escaping.
Okay.
In other news, I've watched two things,
Go on.
and now one of them will bounce to later on if you want.
No, that's all right. It's all right. You can talk about it, and we'll do it here if you like.
No,
Don't matter.
no. We'll save it for later.
Okay.
I watched Prey,
Mm-hmm.
not the MC Hammer biography.
Really? Is that? I've
That's how we pray.
I've looked at the wrong one. Shit.
Where did that come from? That was. Oh, I'm so glad I said that.
I was going to say. I was wondering why. I was expecting dogs and alien hunters in a forest, and all I got was balloon pants, and I don't know what was going on.
Stop hammer time. Oh, do it. Well, but if we keep stopping, it's going to take us longer to get
Hammer
there.
time is like a lunar month, isn't it? Anyway,
I think it is. Yeah.
go on. So you watch Prey?
It was Timmy Mallett's update, wasn't it? It's please Hammer, don't hurt me.
Oh God.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey.
Anyway,
Whack-a-day.
I also saw, or I'm in the process of watching The Sandman.
Oi!
Oh, yes.
I was
It's
going
all
to
right.
mention that.
I'm going to back away. I'm going to back
No,
away.
go back away. I'll join in.
No,
I'll
you
join
do
in.
it. You do
why
it on
don't you-
yours.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
No, I've got
There's
lots
enough,
to talk about, so it's fine.
there's enough Sandman to go around.
There
So
is.
why don't you tell us what you thought of Sandman, Elton?
Okay, what did I think of Sandman? So I've just, one of my good compadres, Andy Palastides, sent me the audiobook of Sandman a little while ago, and I worked my way through it. Fuck me, there's moments where I absolutely adore it, and there's other bits where I'm a bit, it's a bit boring.
Mm-hmm.
But on the majority, really enjoyed it. It's a carbon copy of that audiobook.
Right.
Almost. I'm sure there are things changed. Because I'm not as learned as other people, I don't know. But what I've seen of it, I'm really enjoying.
Cool.
Now, I haven't finished the season yet, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So, thumbs up from me. Will save me interjecting onto Darren's week later on.
I could just join in with you now.
No. We'll save it for
It's not a
you, mate.
problem.
Save it for you.
Why?
It's
I've got
cool.
plenty to talk.
No.
Really
Can we
have.
all just stop being so fucking polite and
Let's-
just
let's
get
Right,
on?
I'm barging in.
Let's all
So
put our
I
guns
watched
down.
it as well, and I was very. I was amazed how good it was, actually.
Yeah.
I've seen the entire thing.
Yeah.
In fact, I sat here and watched it with Maria and Ree. We all loved it. I've got to say, for me, there's two characters you need to really get right in this, and that's Dream, of course, who is the Sandman, Morpheus, and also Death. And both actors that play the role, what's the guy's name now? It's flipping hell.
Doesn't matter.
Tom-
It's all right.
Tom
Go on.
Sturridge, that's it. The moment he opened his mouth, that was it for me. And there was one bit where he appears in a dream sequence in somebody's head, and it's the way he appears, and shivers just shot straight up my spine, and it's like, fuck me, this is straight out of the comic book. I know there's been some people who made comment on certain casting choices, but fuck them. This is it. You're not going to get anything closer to the original material than this. This is I've been reading. I went back and read the graphic novel, and it is amazing how close this fucking is to the source material.
See, I've never read the graphic novel.
Oh, it's good. It's good. And this is...
Well, you've pretty much seen it, you Elton.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, now.
This is it. But, he got the voice. That's the thing. He got the fucking voice. I was watching an interview. I've watched a couple of interviews with him and Neil Gaiman. And there's points when he first started filming, there was a point where Neil Gaiman had to stop him and said to him, stop doing Batman. Because he kept doing a whispery sort of throat infection type thing for the voice. And it's... No, he doesn't do that. It's the difference between Christian Bale and Kevin Conroy, where Batman voices are concerned. For me, Kevin Conroy, perfect Batman voice, deep voice, but you can hear every word he says. This is the same thing with Tom Sturridge. He's got a very low, very deep voice when he does his thing, but you just understand every word that comes across, and it's just that is the Sandman.
And
that's it.
And as a newbie, Elton, I mean, you said you heard the audio. What was your take on the actual show then? I mean, seeing as because Darren's obviously got all this luggage from seeing
That's
seeing
right.
The books and everything.
Lots of people were going into it and heavily comparing it to their comic and graphic novel experience from 30 years ago. This thing came out. I'm not too sure, but it's been around for decades.
87 it started.
87.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's been around for some time, and I'm a very very much a newbie on this. I'm in. This TV show has brought me to it. But yeah, I'm digging everything. The actual look when he goes to hell, and there's a moment where he just stands in front of the gates of hell, and you're like, that looks fucking amazing.
Yep.
And we've all seen big doors, and we've all seen big wooden doors that people rat upon, and it slowly opens. But this just looked different.
Yeah,
it looked really, really good.
I'm the only one here who hasn't seen it yet, so I have no idea. I mean, I have listened to the audiobooks and I have seen the comic. So yeah, so I'm intrigued, but I'm almost waiting for the hype to die down on it, because it's one of those things. I suspect that if I suddenly came in with or even slightly dissenting, it might suddenly rain hell down upon me. So I'm just like, I just leave that shit alone, and I'll come back to it once the hype's died down.
It is a bit of a hot potato at the moment.
Well, basically, there's you have the comics. There's the audiobooks, which are pretty much almost like an audiobook version of the comics.
Oh, right.
Literally, like word for word with Neil Gaiman narrating.
Yeah.
Now, the TV series, there are a lot more changes.
Yeah.
It's still very faithful, but there is actually new stuff, and some of the stories, they change focus and they add bits. As for the casting, in some cases it was simply down, they had to change things for rights issues, because in the early Sandman they have a lot of DC Universe characters which the rights weren't there for. They couldn't use John Constantine.
I think Swamp Thing shows up as well, doesn't he, at one point? And they've had to kind of...
no, there's no, Swamp Thing never appears in it. Dream has appeared in Swamp Thing, and there's a big backstory. I mean, if you read from the Alan Moore Swamp Thing, and then the Jamie Delano Hellblazer, you'll actually know who Matthew the Raven was when he was a human, and his whole story.
Nice.
Things like that, yeah. And as for the casting choices, I mean, I don't give two hoots that Death is Black.
No,
because she sounds
right on the head.
Just nailed. The performance is just completely there, and she's a pan-dimensional being. She changes appearance depending on who's looking at her.
Well, I like I say, I've kept out of the ring of this. I think I said back in or I think we said back in a couple of weeks back when I was watching the ILM documentary, that opened my eyes to how little of this stuff actually really matters, because it's just people just making shit up, and they don't invest in it as much as people who seem to get invested in it do.
Well, there's certain practicalities. I say, there were rights issues. I think, as Neil Gaiman said, that if he could have had Matt Ryan, who's played the TV Constantine, he would have had him. But rights didn't allow that, so he went a different route.
Keanu.
No, none of that.
But the other thing as well, when it comes to changes from the source material with this version and the casting, whatever, it's fucking Neil's story. It's Neil making it. Neil can do what he likes.
Yeah,
that is totally canon. You know what I mean? This is the actual creator of the comics doing this. He made these decisions. That's fine.
Yeah.
This isn't Alan Moore backing away from it and going, no bollocks, I disown this shit.
No,
Yeah,
he did put something out about that as well, going on. Nobody is a gatekeeper for this.
No.
That's it. So, fuck off. Just, go away. This is what I've done. It's my work. This is what I've done if I wanted to do a modern retelling of the Sandman. Because I've got the audio book. I've done that. Faithful. Thank you very much. Now I've got this. And there you go.
Okay. Well, like I say, I've not seen it, so I can't really speak to any further conversation. But frankly, my time on Earth is becoming ever more limited, and spending it worrying about what someone else thinks about something else. In terms of someone just getting the arse because I don't know, because they just don't like character XYZ being portrayed by someone XYZ. It's just life's too short for that shit.
Yeah.
Is the story good? Am I entertained? Yes, no, end of. I mean, that's really it.
Well, for me, yes, the story is good. Yes, I am entertained.
Yeah, I mean, no, like I say, I'm not trying to dismiss that if someone isn't acting right, or is the script is poorly delivered, or the direction's rubbish. Fair enough, that's a discussion to be had. But it just seems like there seems to be this string of identity things going on that just seems to just pop up on every mortal fucking thing. It doesn't matter from what you pick. I mean, it's like Prey. It's like I went on Facebook, I went on Twitter, and I said, what I thought about that. And it was only like 2 posts. And within 5 minutes, oh my God, I was getting people trying to jump into my DMs to tell me that,
you're wrong.
X weight of woman couldn't fight against X weight of predator, and fuck off. If you're one of the people who sent me those DMs, thank you very much for them, but fuck off. So like you care, like I care. I care less than you care, so go away. So
to break it to them that the predator isn't real.
Well, I mean,
It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm playing the physics card in an action film. Bad hand to play.
Yeah, it is a very bad hand to play.
And talking of bad hands, Predator.
Yay! Yeah. Yeah, nice. Anyway, yes. So, sorry, Elton, we kind of all dogpiled in on your week, but
no, you're more than welcome. Even though I said no, let's save it.
No, because
you did. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's cool.
Let's all touch. No,
yeah, no. Hang on, hold on, easy. Sorry, I've got to get quicker with those. Oh, madam. Anyway.
Okay, so one other thing. The week just gone, I had the week off, which was glorious. I picked the right week not to go to work because, man, it was sweaty. Man, it was hot.
God, wasn't it?
Flipping hell. It was almost unbearable. Now, look, this is an Englishman talking about the weather on a podcast. I apologise, but flipping hell, it was Bako Keiko. Talking of cakes.
Oh, right.
Nice.
Continuing from last week, where we had Cato Largo, or wherever it is.
Cato Largo.
Keiko Largo, yes.
Keiko Largo.
Cake Gate?
No. It's moved
Largo.
from Gato Largo now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. What qualifies that? What does it have to do to go from Cake Gate to Cake Largo?
Well, because
of course, yes.
Because Watergate basically is just a hotel where shit was found, and Mar-a-Lago is where apparently you can find nuclear launch codes in a toilet.
Yeah.
So now it's at Largo. There you
Yeah,
go.
so
right,
Cake Largo now.
Cake Largo.
Carrying on from last week, my brother had it was basically birthday week round my gaff, where we had celebrating my son's birthday, my brother's birthday, my daughter's birthday next week, but she won't be here for it, and my mum's birthday in September, but she won't be here for it because they're doing travels around the world.
Right.
So we were all having like get-togethers and seeing families and saying last goodbyes before people go traveling. And my brother decided to order a cake and get it delivered to our house. Now, okay, fine. That's fine. I didn't know what type of cake he was getting. He said, okay, I hate to use these words, but these are the words he used. Okay. I was on TikTok. That's what he said. And he saw like an advert for a cake company and he decided to order it. And it comes with, how many slices is it? I'm going to send you, I think I sent a picture in the Facebook group on for Black Dog, but I'm going to send you guys a picture of said cake.
Yes.
Now there are 2, 4, 6, 8 slices of cake.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
All different flavors.
Yes.
So you have like a galaxy caramel one and a deep chocolate one, triple chocolate thing, and lots of other things. I think there was like hundreds and thousands one. I can't remember. There was loads. Really, really nice cakes. Do not have a whole slice to yourself, because this is denser than the center of the earth. The little crumbs that came off started circulating around the cake pieces. It was that dense.
Yeah. It was so dense it could have been employed as the as the Prime Minister of the UK.
That's right, yeah. It's a really nice cake. I can't even remember who it's from. I was actually going to do a plug then. Shit, I'm glad I stopped myself.
Why?
But I can't remember who it was. So I
right.
can't. It was really nice, but fuck, it was so heavy. It was one of them ones where you have a little slice, you're like, oh, I'll have a little slice of that, and then try something else. And you have your little slice, you're like, I can't eat anything else for the rest of the day now. It's too much. Because it is a cake, and then it's wrapped in like some sort of cookie dough crust.
Whoa.
Nice.
And you're like, what? So basically, a whole cake has been condensed into an eighth of a cake. That's what you're getting.
Wow.
It is so dense and heavy.
Bloody hell.
But man, it was good.
And how long did it take you for the insulin shot to save your life?
Well, it's slowly wearing off now. Only now. But yeah, I think we've only just broken through them. My brother took a load with him, and we kind of divvied it up after. So there wasn't much to go around after everyone else had dived in on it. But, oh, Jesus. You can't eat a whole slice. You will die if you have one whole slice. There's no two ways about it.
No, I'm looking at it now. I mean, apart from, the obvious cutting issues, we won't go into that, but, it does look good. It does look good. It does look like the Council of Elrond, though. They are all standing around and there should be a ring in the middle.
You mentioned it about that looks like the cake from, what's the Sam Neill film where they go to hell?
Oh, yeah, Event Horizon.
That's it, yeah, because I haven't seen that yet, so now I want to see that.
You haven't seen Event Horizon?
No, I haven't, no. I think it's only just come back onto Netflix, so I've got it onto my list now.
Suddenly, Jim, whose choice it is this week, suddenly changes. No, I tell you what, that'd be quite funny. I tell you what, next Comic Relief Day, we'll do a live stream, all sitting around watching Elton watch Event Horizon.
Wow, that's very meta.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys just watching me watching a film.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, we could do its commentary on it. I don't know. Anyway, I have random feelings about Event Horizon. Anyway, yes. So you're now cakeified, are you? Completely?
Yeah,
caked?
can't do any more cake. I am done. Stuffed.
You've
Stick a fork in me.
You've reached maximum cake.
Yeah. Cake levels are through the roof. If I was a totalizer, on Blue Peter, we would have reached our maximum total.
We've reached cake levels I never thought were possible.
We could supply a little village with water.
Or cake.
Or cake, yes.
Nice. Yeah, with just
Everything
£2
is now cake, isn't it?
Yeah, with just £2, we can supply this entire African village with one of these slices of cake.
And it would be just one of the eighths of the cake, and they would spend years just eating it.
Chipping away at it down the cake mines, just hacking away at it with a pickaxe. We dig. Oh, chocolate bit. Hold that through. We
What's that thing?
dig. What?
Give a man a fish and he'll feed himself for a day. Give a man a slice of this cake and that's it. You won't have to worry about him ever again.
Ever.
You'll
give him type 2 diabetes. And chronic heart failure.
Give him a slice of cake. You don't have to worry about him for next year because he'll be dead.
It's a bit like putting one of those fish blocks in before you go on holiday into the tank.
Fish don't touch. They just swim up to it and go, and swim away from it.
Yeah.
Oh, new ornament.
Yeah, I went on holiday and just left this cake in the middle of the room for my children. I didn't have to take them on holiday at all. They could eat for months. Anyway.
My children did really long poos as well.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Until they sort of eventually wrapped them around the house. Just kind of trailing them around. Forgot where they were going, and then came back on and went, "Ooh, poo!"
Came back. We thought we had draft excluders just growing in our house.
Yeah. He looked like a recreation of snakes on a plane. Anyway, sorry, just random nonsense. Sure, anything else, sir?
No, that's it. That's my week.
Right. Okay. Cool. Then we shall move on to Mr. Barnard. Sir, how are you?
Oh, all good. It's been a pretty good week for me this week.
Oh yeah,
pretty good fortnight actually. Like Elton, I took a week off to go gallivanting places and doing things.
Yep.
And apart from, of course, watching The Sandman and Prey, Yo Go Hammer, this week, or should I say last week, it was my granddaughter's first birthday.
Oh, damn, you sprung that on me. I could have had Grandad queued up as well.
Yeah, that would have been really awkward though if you got to play that and it would have been the Pornhub theme tune. So, best not take any chances there. But went all the way up to sunny Lincoln. Newark, that's it. Yeah, Newark, near Lincoln, and had a thoroughly wonderful time up there. Big party with relatives and God knows what else, and more food than you could sink a battleship with. So
it wasn't one of Elton's cakes, was it?
No, it wasn't. Although I did make one of my cakes. So in fact, I made another one of those Biscoff millionaire slice things. So that went down a treat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, you did, didn't you? I deliberately took a photo of it and put that online.
You fucking history's greatest monster you are.
Yes, I am, and I'd do it again, damn nabbit.
And even worse is what it spawned on the fucking cast Facebook group.
It just spiraled, didn't it?
I mean, seriously, what they did to... I mean, Colin the fucking caterpillar, man. Michael Wilding. Yeah, he actually cut Colin the caterpillar into triangles. Why? Just no. Jesus.
So wrong.
So wrong.
It wasn't even a try. It was like a lump out of it, wasn't it? It was a notch.
Yep. Well, as Greg Spalding said on the Facebook group, what monster would do that to fucking Colin the caterpillar? Philip the praying mantis.
That's the little version. So,
yeah.
cheap cut price stuff.
Yeah.
Spent a weekend up there. That was great. Really nice to see everybody, and just to see the little one. So there we go. There was that. And then secondly, we took a trip to Birmingham for a couple of days. Yeah. We went off to the Grylls Adventure Centre.
So you sat in a shed followed by a camera crew and 8 bugs while the rest of them sat there with a fillet steak in a tent.
Well, a bit of B&B down the road. No, actually, no. We did some adventure-y type stuff. Parkour. Oh, there's a YouTuber who did something like that. He was watching comedy videos and somebody was doing parkour, and every time he made a jump he kept going parkour. So now every time I see someone doing parkour, I just hear his voice in my head go parkour. Just to emphasise the fact.
What possessed you to go on the Bear Grylls experience?
Well, there was a little thing about swimming with, well, not swimming with sharks, but doing a cage thing with sharks.
Cage fight?
A cage fight with sharks, yes. Bare knuckle fighting.
Bare knuckle shark
punching. You shark slag. Take it. There you go, right on the snot.
You shark slag.
Yeah, you shark slag.
Fucking going in there like Jason Statham, looking more like Jason Mumford.
And then it gets a bit close to the cage, and I'm like, "Help me!
Lord
Jeebus, save me, Jeebus!"
Lord Jesus, I'm being gummed to death by a catfish. This was not how it was. This was not how it was advertised.
Oh man, it was really good. It was never snorkeled at all before ever. But
really,
yeah, I found the experience really good. It was it's the whole thing of being underwater and being able to breathe. Yes, but you got to get. I had to get used to that sort of thing of not just keep holding my breath all the time. So,
hold on. You've never snorkeled.
Never snorkeled. Never been snorkeling at all, ever. So this was a first for me. You know, proper snorkeling, not like go in the bath with a snorkel on and pretend you're sort of like diving.
Hold on, hang on. Hang on. No, you don't just skip over that fucking thing.
It's just where you got to play the Grandad theme tune now. Well,
no, I want to. I
got them mixed up.
I want to know why on earth you would go into a bath with a snorkel.
Well, it's just one of the things you do, Hey, I was bored last Saturday. What can I say? But
are you slowly turning into Mr. Bean?
I think I am. Yeah.
In a bath with a snorkel.
With this day of rising prices for energy and fuel and God knows what else, you've got to find your adventure where you can get it, mate. That's all.
Have you tried to paint a room with a can of paint and
a firework?
Yep. I've done that as well. Yep. Not successful. I will not be doing that again. No. Not at all.
Okay.
But so that I've really, really enjoyed that. It was good. I wish it had been longer. We spent about, I think it was like half an hour, 45 minutes in the tank. And there were like other fish in there as well, and they were swimming in and out the bars and whatever.
What sort of shark was it, by the way?
Oh, they weren't sort of like ultra massive or anything. They were black tip sharks. These things, they're about 4 or 5 foot long. But there was this monster shark in there. I can't remember what they called it, but it looked more like a giant catfish. This thing.
Oh, like a banjo shark or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And apparently, talking to the sort of like our guide in this, she's like, yeah, she said that shark won't actually come to the front of the main display downstairs in the sort of like on the place where you come into to get tickets and whatever. It never really goes there. It always waits around for the people actually diving into the tank and doing the scuba dive there. And it's just like a big attention hooer. So, it was like swimming in and out of them and stuff like this and posing for photographs and what have you. So that bit, absolutely brilliant. Really loved that. And the other activity we had planned was archery.
Mm.
And they let me play with a bow and arrow, proper bow and arrow.
Nice.
Fucking great. And it wasn't like one of these techno bows with like the fucking pulleys on the top or anything like this. This was a piece of wood with a fucking leather handle on it with a bit of string sort of like tied to either end, and that was it. And this was a proper long bow.
Nice.
That I had as well. And they sort of like teaching us like how to fire the bow and whatever, and doing the accuracy thing. And then it's like, right, okay, we taught your accuracy. Now we're going to try timed shooting. We're going to give you we're going to give you a time period, and you've got to shoot a target or do so many things within this time. And they built it up, and I was getting quite, I was like doing it, managed to fire off, managed to get a little bit of accuracy in there as well. And then they're like, right, okay, so the final bit, we're going to do like a general competition between a lot of you, and it's going to be a timed event, 2 minutes. You've got 8 arrows, and you have to score as high a score in 20 in I think it was 2 minutes or a minute. Do it as much as possible, and we'll top up the scores. And
go on, Hawkeye.
So I'm sitting there going, I'm stood there drawing the bow, and I'm like, "You have failed this city," like that. So I'm firing off, trying to get as many out as possible. Didn't manage to get the last arrow away, and then we got out there, counted up all the scores, and people were coming back with like 14, 20, fucking 23. They said to me, "So what did you score? Would you like to take a guess at how much I scored?"
Oh, I don't know. I mean, you're building up for pausing. You're pausing for dramatic effect. So let's go around the table. Jim, how much do you reckon he scored?
What's it out of?
Well, let's see now. Let's see. Yeah, 8 arrows, right?
One injured instructor.
One injured instructor. One not so much Hawkeye, more like one eye. Bird's
eye.
Bird's eye. That's it. Yeah. Well, you had what is it? You had 4 colours. 10 was in the middle. 8 was the next colour. Then it was 5, and then I think it was 1 on the outside. The black ring on the outside there. So 8 arrows. What do you think I scored?
Go on, Jim. You go first.
180. No.
I wish.
No, I'll say 25.
25.
Elton?
Darren comes across as one of them lucky people that would...
Fuck you. Luck. There was no luck involved in this. It was just pure skill.
All pure skill up until the point where it's rubbish and you're like, fuck that, this is broken. Yeah. This is broken.
Shit.
Yeah. In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Fuck you, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, you come across as one of these people that would just be fluky and lucky and just be like, oh, look at that. It's pure skill.
I think the average score was 25.
I reckon you got 29.
29.
I'm going to go with 40.
Okay, so we got the scores in, and you're all wrong. You are way below the mark.
Nothing.
No, you're all way below the mark.
Don't tell me you got 80.
No, I got 51.
51?
I beat everybody by about 20 points.
Did you fire?
Lucky. See?
Did you just fire a shotgun straight at it?
I did. Yeah, it was a Homer Simpson arrow gun. That's what. But yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I didn't even get the last arrow off, and I was still good. So don't fuck with me. If you see me with a bow and arrow, fucking watch yourself because I'll have your nuts off you from 2 miles away.
Like fucking Norman Reedus.
Did you have your Kevin Costner moment?
My Kevin Costner.
Did you lick the flight?
I did. I licked the flight. And where's the music? Where's the music? Fuck's sake, man, come on.
No, I'm going to leave it. I was going to play
that music. The porn. Oh. Don't play Grandad. Oh.
Sorry.
So,
hang on.
No,
what?
Listen to my background.
Go on. Okay, that's freaky.
What's that?
It's a church bell.
Church bell. It's 10 o'clock, isn't it?
There you go.
Oh, well,
just pull back the curtain there. And
sorry.
Now they know how long. Now they know when we were recording this.
Indeed.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
So there we go. So 51. That's it. I am Hawkeye. I am Arrow.
51, or did
I am,
they drop?
I
Did
am
they?
the hooded man.
Are you sure? Are you sure they didn't just drop the scorecards upside down, and it was actually 15?
No. It was one of those big round targets on a big. The actual the stand was, proper sort of bale of hay type circle thing, like good old fashioned Kevin Costner, Prince of Thieves.
How many arrows could you have fired?
I could have fired 8, but I only got 7 off.
You got 7, and you got 51, and now you're calling
51.
yourself Hawkeye.
I am Hawkeye. Yes.
Cool guy.
Cool guy. Yes, because somebody fired off some champagne, and it was like fuck. Fucking hell! Like that,
Hawkeye. Yeah. Nice.
Well, they did have a good selection of pies there, so yeah. What can I say? And then after that, right? Hold on. The last thing, right? You get to go on the Royal Marines assault course as many times as you like, right? Now, just like they say that like you're going to just keep running around and going on this assault course. So it's like
it's like free fill-ups of Coke, isn't it?
It's
it makes you think you're going to get a lot, but really you're not.
No. You think you look at it, you think, yeah, no problem. I'll fucking do that. Mm-hmm. So we got in there. Me and Maria are staying. We're like, well, okay, let's do this, right? Okay, we'll do sort of like a race. We'll see who can get to the end first. And I first of all, almost at the first thing. They had like those. It was like you had to step on the tops of these logs to. They were like put in as pegs in the ground. You had to basically step on them to get to the next bit, and then
shoes.
Yeah. So I lost my balance as soon as I put my foot on one. So I went whoa. So after that, then they had that rack where you go over it and then under it and then over it again at the other end, and then they had a slope with a rope on it. Helps you to pull you up. So I'm not doing too badly. And then it came to these nets that you had to crawl under, and I'm not joking, I started seeing like black spots suddenly after I did that bit, and then I climbed over a couple of walls, and then it got to the fucking monkey bars. And whereas I thought, yeah, I'll do a couple, I chose the wrong one, right? I chose the wrong set of monkey bars, right? I should have gone for the one. The first one, right? The one on the far left.
On the floor.
Which was a ladder. No, it was literally a ladder laying flat, right? Okay. Me, right? This fucking idiot, right? I went for the one where the bars are going upwards and then come down on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. I got 3 in and I just fell off. That was it. I just dropped like a wet sack of shit. I just went down. I made the same sound as I hit the dirt as well.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, I think I'll be walking on the red carpet around the outside. And that was it. I just left. I just left.
Walked away.
Yeah, I just walked away.
Me and Ben never spoke again.
That's it. And I think I did the fireman's. They had the fireman's pole at the end that you slide down. Music.
No.
I slid down a fireman's pole. There we go. That's the one. Yeah. So I came away from that. At least I had a couple of good events. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as Meatloaf would say. God bless his soul.
And if anyone would like to send flowers to Darren and his iron lung, you go to Ward C.
Yeah.
Because that's where he's coming from right now. We had to set all this stuff up. We weren't going to advertise it, but as you can hear in the background, that hissing is actually the oxygen tank feeding the pure oxygen, keeping him alive, like
it is,
like a little Darth Vader.
I'm not actually speaking at the moment. I'm typing these words out on one of these keyboards that actually speaks for you. It's quite an advanced one. It sounds really, really good, except for when you go for certain words. Oh, help me, my lungs are on fire. Somebody help me, please help me. No, seriously, help me.
I don't wish to live like this anymore.
The pain is too much. Please finish me off now. There's a hammer over there on the side. You know you want to be merciful. Take a good swing. Right between the eyes. Here, I'll hold it close for you.
He died as he lived, lying in bed, staring up at the sky, wishing he was dead. Oh, right.
So there you go.
So Bear Grylls, you'd recommend it?
Oh, I would actually. I would. It was actually pretty damn good. So, just give it a go if you can.
Okay. And where was that?
That was in Birmingham. It was just
Birmingham.
by the NEC.
Okay.
That was. So, yeah.
Cool. Okie dokie. And that's that, yeah?
Yep. I did. I'm not going to say anymore because I've taken too much of your time as it is.
Okay.
So, moving on
Fair.
to your week because we've got, your week to talk about.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, I'll burn through these. I mean, I literally the first thing was I had my birthday. So
Congratulations!
Now, yay! 51 successful orbits since my parents had nothing to watch on telly. And yeah, I got finally got the and I'm going to get the pronunciation thing wrong. The Wacom Cintiq. I bought myself one, or rather,
Very
Carol
nice.
bought one for me. So I got this 16-inch. Hold on. Screen which I can draw on. And so that's been good, and I've been playing with ZBrush and doing my Frankenstein monster, which I had to stop because, as a typical 51-year-old now, I just got random back twinges, which turned me into look like a spider when it sort of lands over a candle. I just went, yeah! That was the end of that. I've been drawing for too long. And I ended up having to take my Katie's cramp meds just to get me straight. Just to get me upright. I'm like, oh fuck. Which meant the rest of the week I spent sort of lying on a sofa watching telly and watching stuff. So let's go through this very quickly. Firstly, I watched I Am Groot, the quote hilarious 5-minute short cartoons from Marvel Studios on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Which essentially it's a 5-minute cartoon, yeah, but
Yep.
2.5 minutes is the intro graphic. No, 30 seconds is the intro graphic for
the
them.
exit.
Yeah, and 2.5 minutes is the credits.
Yeah,
So-
but they tell you who did what voice
Yeah,
in Spain or Argentina. It's like, why do I need to know this? I'm not in Argentina.
exactly. And you suddenly think, well, hang on, if I take 2.5 minutes off of this 5-minute short and 30 seconds off the front, then really what you've done is you've done basically 2 minutes of animation, and it's not even funny. There's no hilarious sort of wrap up, Tex Avery and Looney Tunes and all those kind of guys, and sort of like Tom and Jerry with Fred Quimby and all that. They could knock out about 20 gags in 2 minutes, and I Am Groot doesn't do shit in 5 episodes at 2 minutes a pop.
So what you're saying is that, the Tex Avery, they could knock out loads of jokes, but these guys couldn't even knock one out.
Not that I saw that coming down the road, but I saw it coming down the road.
It was a full-on... It was a full-on Pride celebration following that one. I'll tell you that now. That's how much it was signposted.
Exactly. So I Am Groot. I Am Groot was I Am Rubbish. Really not very good at all. The next thing, this is going up in quality, by the way. It was Day Shift, which was on Netflix.
Ah, right, okay.
Which is Jamie Foxx as a pool guy, who's cleaning out everyone's pools, but that's just his day job. What his actual job is working for a unionised company that takes care of vampires in LA.
Right.
It is very, very silly, and him and Dave Franco do this sort of 48 hours. What's that one with Treat Williams? Where he's a zombie cop with the other guy. Oh.
Zombie cop with the other guy.
Yeah, come on, Jim. Someone help me. It's
You want heavy painkillers?
No. It was the one where it was like it was Treat Williams, Joe Piscopo, and it was like two cops and one dies being killed by a reanimated cow in a Chinese abattoir.
Ran for 7 seasons. Yeah.
Oh, God almighty. Man looks up thing on internet. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do this because my brain's gone completely numb.
Can you smell toast?
Dead Heat?
Dead Heat. Thank you, Jim. Dead Heat. See you.
It does exist.
Brain worked eventually.
Yeah, Dead Heat.
So I was thinking Red Heat now. No, that's Arnie being rubbish.
He's not on the Disco Smarties. Fantastic.
I was to get out of the bloody sofa after a week of just lying there, kind of with my back spasming like a bastard. But yeah. So it's like Dead Heat meets Blade meets 48 Hours,
Okay.
but it's fun. But it's about an hour too long.
Oh, blimey.
You can see where everything's going.
Was it hour and 5 minutes? Is that what you were saying?
No, it's about 2 hours. It's about 2 hours and 10. It's like
right. Okay.
It's like they're trying to set up the world, and it's fine, and it's funny. But you're just sitting there going, I know where this is going. This is going to happen to so and so. This person isn't who they seem they are, and you've already plotted the film out within 5 minutes once you've seen all the characters, and you're just sitting there just waiting for the plot beats to happen. The only thing they do, which is quite interesting, is they seem to get a lot. They got a lot of out of work Cirque du Soleil people to be the vampires, because it seemed like every single one of them comes out of like little tiny air vents while folded in half, like they were getting. You know when you get contortionists who fold themselves into little plastic boxes.
Yeah.
So things like Jamie Foxx or one of these other vampire hunters would go into this room, and all of a sudden you see like an air vent open up, and people would kind of crawl out, and they kind of like their asses like sitting on the top of their head, and they kind of unfold.
There's a Tupperware container on the kitchen top, and all of a sudden the lid goes, and it's a vampire.
Exactly, and so it was that kind of thing. So there's lots of, but it's typical kind of Buffy shit with kind of like. But you get gunfights, but every vampire known in this film somehow knows how to kung fu fight.
Right.
So yeah, it's a passable time waster. You'll sit there and feel like you've watched a Sunday afternoon action pap.
Yeah.
And that'll be the end of that. The other thing I watched, oh blimey, I've got a few here. Hold on. We got, here we go. We got Books of Blood, which is on Disney Plus, based on the Clive Barker.
It's so wrong when you say that. I'm thinking Books of Blood by Clive Barker and Disney in the same sentence. It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, well, it's a weird little film that's an hour and 40, and it's got 3 stories. All interconnected, but they initially seem disconnected, and then it sort of does that Rec 2 Pulp Fiction thing where the characters all start to overflow between one story and the other.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not scary in the slightest. There's a couple of interesting moments. There's some interesting characters in there, and there's a couple of bits which will make you go, "Oh, that's quite clever," but. Yeah, if you're missing old school Clive Barker of Hellraiser, this ain't it. There's a couple of bits and pieces, but it's like Day Shift. It's a time waster. You'll sit there, you'll watch it for an hour and a half. Don't feel like you've wasted your time, but you don't feel like you've seen anything particularly good. And then hold on, here we go. Then I saw Prey, which we can't really talk about because Jim, you ain't seen it, have you? You haven't seen it. Let's just go around the table. Elton, I know you've seen it. What did you think of it?
Hang on, sorry. What was
Prey.
that?
You're not
Prey.
listening, are you?
No, I am.
You totally tuned out. You totally tuned out, man. That's man. You get a fog on. Yeah, Prey. Go on. Prey. What did you think about it?
Prey. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I forgot about. Well, I tried to leave everything at the door and not let all the other films I've seen a million times taint it.
Mm.
And I was expecting it just to be utter guff, really.
Mm.
I was expecting it to be better than the Knights one, especially on the special effects side of things. No?
Oh, man. In the words of Geordie LaForge, but you are right, David. He did
Yes. Carry
Yes.
on.
Joking.
It's okay, cunt.
I thought it was. I really enjoyed it. There are moments I don't like callbacks now. We do it too much.
Mm.
We do way too many callbacks.
Mm.
And it seems like there's not a film that goes by where if you've had a sequel or a franchise or something going on, you have to stick in a callback.
Yeah.
And it did it a couple of times.
Well,
And-
yeah, go on.
It just takes me out.
Mm.
It just takes me out. There's no need for it.
Well, one of them was okay, and the second one, we can't say without spoiling it, so
No.
I'm not going to. But there was the pair that I saw, I thought were okay, because in context they kind of work in the story. If you take it away from the other films, it wasn't like half the Star Wars films where everyone has to say I have a bad feeling about this, or anything like that, where you're constantly pointing at a thing and going, look, that's a thing. Look, that's nostalgia. They're there. But yeah, go on, carry on.
But I just can't abide it now. It just does it too much. But overall, I thought it looked really good. I had fun in it. There were a couple of moments where I was like, it's a bit ropey, but I don't know why. I forgave it because I was having fun with it. And I think with a film, if you're having fun with it, if you're on board with it, if you're enjoying it, if you're getting something out of it, then yeah, you can forgive it on certain technicalities.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think I just let all that wash over me. I really enjoyed it, and then checked on Twitter and watched everyone spoil it for everyone else.
Yes. And if you spoil Prey, you're just a knob. Same with Nope, but which we'll get to in a minute.
Right. But yeah, it was good fun. I would heartily recommend people go and check it out. And I've been looking forward to this. Like Sandman, I knew that it was coming out on the 5th, and I've been looking forward to it up until that day. And as soon as I got home from work, bang, on it, watched it immediately before I saw anyone else review it. And I think I was better for it as well.
Yeah, I go along with that.
Yeah,
what about
same
you,
here.
Dal?
Yeah, same here. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great addition to the sort of like the Predator line of films, and so much better than things that probably had a lot more budget that have mentioned or had a Predator in him. That came out in the last few years. Jesus H. Christ.
That one we went to see.
Oh, fuck off. Get out. Don't mention that. What are you? I thought you were my friend.
No,
What are you
not
doing?
anymore. Not anymore.
Not
People
anymore.
who cut cakes like that are no longer my friend. You're not in my circle of trust. Fuck you.
Right, okay. Well, yeah, a bit like that Predator pile of shit that we saw. This actually engaged me. I loved watching the actual the things on screen. The main character working out, like making her own weapons and stuff like this, designing things. And
Again, try to steer the spoilers away, mate.
No, I'm not going to explain what she does, but it's just it's nice to see. They've treated this character with respect. They treat the whole thing with respect. And apparently there is a Comanche version.
Yeah,
you can actually want it. Well, I want to watch that. I wish they'd done it all in Comanche.
I will say I did watch it in that, and the only thing about it is it's a bit of a half-assed manoeuvre. because I wanted to watch it in Comanche and see what it was like. And they are still talking in English.
Oh.
It's dubbed over in Comanche. So you're seeing the lips moving. And then on top of that, the subtitles are actually hard-coded for deaf people. So what's happening is it's not just saying, oh, let's go over here and look for this big cat or whatever. Yeah. It's actually saying sound of gunshot in distance, sound of cow mooing, that sort of thing. And you're like, oh, this is
You've not really thought this out.
No, this was just sort of dotting the I's and crossing the T's to make sure that nobody gets the arse that it wasn't in Comanche or something. It felt very like a corporation suddenly deciding that was the best way to cover head any sort of thing about cultural appropriation off at the pass, rather than doing it for a real reason.
Do you know what? There is there's something that's just reminded me. There is a show, sort of a quite humorous show about Vikings, and they film each episode twice. Right, it's almost spot on perfect, and they do one in English and they do one in, I think it's Norwegian.
Yeah,
and so you can watch either show, and it's like they don't overdub the language or anything, and it just works so much better.
But that would also be hugely expensive to do. So while Netflix will probably have the cash to throw at it, I think Prey was kind of a much lower budget kind of affair.
Just do it all in Comanche, or even go one step better. Don't do have hardly any speaking in it at all.
Do it all in Predator.
Yeah, do it all in Predator.
Yeah,
there you go.
Want some candy?
Yeah. So yeah, but overall, no, I really loved it. I thought the design for the Predator itself, design for the Predator itself was really, really good. I really like that. The sort of very sort of feral look about it is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, Elton.
It had a look of the original, and I mean when I say the original, the Van Damme.
Fuck off. The bright orange foam running.
No, not bright orange, jeez.
Not once did I see it do splits across anything. If you're gonna do Van Damme, go the whole hog, mate.
The Van Damme one looked like Skeksis. It didn't look anything like this.
No, okay. All right. Cool.
No.
Maybe it's just me then.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I just remember the thing having a big wobbly nose thing stuck out the front. He didn't have anything like that. In fact, it looked like it ran into a back of a truck.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't want to give anything away, so I'll just leave it there.
All right. Well, maybe once Jim's seen it, we'll do another go over it. I think, but or Jim can put it forward for his choice this week. Yeah. Personally, I mean, Comanche voice over aside, I really liked it. I think it's probably the second best Predator movie, full stop. Yeah. I thought Predator was great, obviously original best. There you go. This one is the sequel I kind of wish we got before, because there's no wisecracking macho man kind of bollocks that we had in the first one. It's like the difference between Alien and Aliens. It's like one's doing the big action thing and the other one's doing basically the Revenant, but with predators.
Yeah,
essentially. And it's a much nice, and it's tonally it's a totally different film. And I think that was kind of a lot better. And I appreciated it even more because once I finished watching it, film 4 was showing the bloody Shane Black Predators, and I watched 10 minutes of that, and I was like, once you see that Predator run out of that military compound like some fat bloke running after the ice cream van, I was just like, nah. You can see how much better it is.
Have you heard about the not rehearsal? Sorry, the audition process that the main the chief actor went through. She went all out. She did. They put up an assault course
All
type
right.
thing. And they said to her, right, because she's got such
Pick
a
the
cool
right
name
monkey
as well.
bars.
Yeah, pick the right monkey bars.
Yeah, don't go up the slopey ones.
Yeah, she's got such a
Black
cool
out.
name as well. Her name's Amber Midthunder. I
Mm.
mean, fucking hell, that's a great name, that.
Yeah.
And they got her in, and she went fucking full out as if she was hunting down a predator
Nice.
on this assault call. She just, the movement, everything, and they were like, yeah, well, you'll do. Thank you.
Yeah, she was really good. I mean,
She was.
there was lots of stuff in it that I really appreciated. I'm very wary about overhyping it though, but yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, very
Personally,
good.
I thought it was very good.
It went back to having fun with it.
Well,
You
that's the thing. I think that a lot of sequels now are missing the point, which is, we don't want just endless references and endless pointing at things and endless repeats of the same old shit. Give us something slightly fresh and new, and mix things up a bit and see where it goes. It might not always work, Last Jedi, but then you might also get things like Prey.
Yeah.
It's. I'd much rather risk it and get something that everyone hates or everyone loves, rather than just this constant rechurning of the same old bollocks over and over again, and going, oh yeah, you remember you liked that line from that thing? Yeah, let's have that again. Center an entire plot around that. Fuck off. So anyway, yeah, that brings me to the last thing I watched, which is Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope, which on one of the hottest days of this week, just gone, I went on Friday, first screening, 11 o'clock in the morning. I went to the View Cinema in Bromley. I went downstairs into the little screen. I sat there with an ice cream in an air-conditioned cinema in a reclining chair right in the middle, the only person there to watch it, and I fucking loved it. That's the best 2.5 hours I've spent this week, was sitting there just with the biggest screen on my own, eating an ice cream, watching a sci-fi thriller horror movie comedy. That was right up my street. I will not spoil a single thing about Nope, because every single podcast and every single review has done the same thing, which is best thing to do is go in completely blind and then watch it, because you'll get the most out of it, and then promptly tell you all the shit and drop shit and little tiny hints and the Hail Hydra kind of nods and winks, thinking they're clever, which are almost entirely the most obvious things to say. And yeah, I'm not saying a word. I'm not saying a single word about it apart from the fact that I enjoyed it. It was a lot slower than I thought it would be, and it's not as horrific as Peele's previous movies, Us and Get Out. It does have its moments, though. I will definitely say that. One moment in particular, but it does have its moments, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I came out of that cinema thinking, if it's one of those films where the second half is so much better than the first half, so you kind of come out thinking, yep, I've watched a good film. It's not his best by any means, but I enjoyed it. And there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of symbolism and metaphor and stuff sort of stuck in there. And I would definitely say, if you can see it at the cinema, do, because the cinematography is really interesting. There's lots of nods and winks and homages and stuff in there to other things. And again, I'm not going to say what they are, how they are, but once you see them, there's a lot to pick apart. It would be an episode of this with us literally putting our tinfoil hats on and just unspooling it all. So there you go. So Nope, go see it. That's all I'm saying about it. I'm not saying another word. And don't listen to any podcasts which are reviewing it, especially the Commode and Mayo one, because the guest reviewer, she comes in and she says, best thing to do is go in blind, and then immediately spells the first shock of the film in the first opening moments of a review. And you go, oh, well, so much for going in blind then. And then promptly gives away another 2 or 3 plot points. and it's just like, fuck off. So yeah, stay away from any reviews entirely, and the more the cleaner you are of it, the better. Even, trailers, you might think you've seen what you've seen, but just trust me, go and watch it. And maybe if once we've all watched it, we'll do a special on it, because I have a lot to talk about, and I'm just the only one on my own. I can't fucking talk about it, which is really annoying. It's the biggest review blue balls I've ever had. It's like, I want to say things, but I can't. So anyway, so Nope, definitely go see it. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I could talk more about my week, but there isn't an awful lot more to really discuss. The only thing I was going to say is on the Facebook group, in terms of feedback, well, obviously we've had Cakeageddon, where everyone has decided that the best way to eat cake is like an absolute monster. And that's fine. That's your mental deficiency, and you are on a list. Bob Lamont, Halo Man Lamont, he jumped into my defence, which I'm eternally grateful for, as everyone just seemed to be literally buying cake just to cut it in odd shapes.
Mr. Kipling would like to thank you. Okay, he
Mr.
really
Kipling,
would.
Yeah, I wish I'd put shares in it before I went off on one. Because the amount of people who have seemingly gone deliberately off to get a cake just so they can cut it at a zigzag angle and gone, ha ha ha!
We are so close to that sponsorship deal. We really are now.
We really are.
This close.
Yeah. So there's that. Obviously, if you want to carry on cutting cakes up in odd places and showing the world what an absolute beast of a human being you are, then by all means go for it. The other thing we had was on the review of the podcast last week, which was last time we were on, which was The Endless. David Renane said there was something was funny with the sync or timing with the episode, and he couldn't be sure it was deliberate or not. I will be honest with you. The reason was because when we record, a little behind the scenes here, it records all the feeds as they appear. So when I started recording, I recorded it was me and the background clips. And then Jim came on, Elton came on, and Darren came on. And normally what happens is when I edit them, I line them up from the back rather than from the front. But like an idiot, because it was 2 o'clock in the morning and I was sweating my bollocks off, I just snapped it to the front and everything slowly drifted out of sync. Which actually sounded like quite a good homage to the film we were watching, which was The Endless. But, unfortunately, by the time I'd done that, it was too late and I wasn't going to correct it. So apologies for that. The other thing which came up on the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, was the fact that hold on, who is it? Who did it? Who said it? It was Mario Buffo on the Facebook group said that there was a whole list of Darren Diamond songs from the original series, which we did, and we couldn't put on Spotify for many, many, many reasons. Yep. And back in the episode 210, which we did, I actually collected them up into a zip and put them on the Facebook group as files that could be downloaded. It now turns out that thanks to the wondrously occult and eldritch machinations behind the scenes at Facebook, that file has vanished. No idea why, no idea, but it's gone. I will, either tomorrow, Wednesday, or down the week, recollect the intros and recollect the jingles, and I will put them into a zip file and I will put them back on the Facebook group. But just bear with me on that one, because I have to dig them out from an old backup, because Black Dog 1 was huge files. So I will do that, and I will do that for you all if you're interested. As ever, we would do intros and we would do music more, but firstly, copyright, and secondly, it used to take us about 3 hours just to do a 5-second intro. Yeah, didn't it? And meanwhile, Jim and Elton were sitting there falling asleep on their microphones, wondering if we were ever coming online to actually record the podcast, which was going to take another 3 hours to do. So, probably don't hold your breath for any intros anytime soon, unless Darren, I don't know, decides he's going to start making his own and sending them to me or something. I don't know.
Well, actually,
You really? Go on.
The refit of my office.
Yeah.
Right, what they have to do is they've got like a media department, and they film videos for various things, and they've actually built a proper studio in the office now. So I'm like, who do I speak to about this?
Well, if you ever manage to get access to it, let me know. I'll write you the lyrics and we'll go for it.
Well, it's only down the road at Charing Cross. So,
oh well, there you go.
There you
There
are.
you go. Just an evening with Lee and Darren arsing about in a studio that they won't let us do. Won't let us use. Anyway, so that's that. So that's a little parish notice and everything. And if ever you want to send feedback in to us, post it up on the Facebook group under the episode, or send it to us via email, which is feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or hit us up on Twitter, which is @blackdogpodcast. Right. Whew. First half down and done, and that was only an hour and a half. So we'll leave it there. We'll roll the jingle, and then we'll be back to play Possum.
There will now be a short intermission.
Right, so Possum is a 2018 British psychological horror film written and directed by Matt Holness, who most of you will probably know from Garth Marenghi's Dark Place as the titular Garth Marenghi. Greetings, traveller. It's his feature film debut, starring Sean Harris and Alan Armstrong, and it centres on a disgraced children's puppeteer who returns to his childhood home and is forced to confront the abuse and trauma that he suffered there. Possum is an adaptation of Holmes's own short story of the same name, which was published in the horror anthology New Uncanny Tales of Unease, and was partially inspired by theories of the uncanny by Sigmund Freud. There you go. This is all from Wikipedia, by the way.
Wow.
So the rest is all about the making of. It was filmed in Norfolk, and it was released on June 25th, 2018 at the Edinburgh Film Festival. It didn't have much of a theatrical run, so there isn't even a box office / budget. So I'm afraid we can't do that, I'm afraid. So we're going to jump straight in.
So you're not even going to ask us to guess to. Even
Have you got one? Have you got one? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We haven't got a budget, but what we do have is a box office for its limited 5-screen run in America. So,
Okay.
Darren, how much did it earn at the box office?
10 freakishly long fingers and a bag full of nightmare fuel. Thank you very
Right,
much.
there you go. Jim, how much did it earn at the box office?
99 black balloons floating in the summer sky.
Nice. Very good. Eldon, what about you?
God, mine's really boring. 3 Busman cigarettes. There you go.
Cool. Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to try and think one up. I leave that one to you. That's my moment to sit back and go, let them make the funny. Make the funnies. Make me laugh, you dancing monkeys. Dance for me. No, actually, it only made it to the box office, but this is only on 3 screens and only on a limited run. $33,000.
Wow. Okay.
So there you go. But again, that's literally because it was a festival run and it had to be screened in certain. It had to have a cinema release to be admissible.
Okay.
Because it's got quite a short length as well. It's only like 85 minutes long.
Otherwise, anyone could make a film and just put it up for whatever.
Yeah. Sort of skip the short films and the amateur films and just go straight for that. So there's the same thing with Netflix. They have to release some films at the cinema, otherwise they can't put them admissible for things like the Oscars. So anyway, there you go. It's all a load of old bollocks. But anyway, so yes. So that was that. So Jim, you and I have seen this, so we're going to go round the table, and it's going to be over to Elton first for our top line review. What did you think about it, mate?
Not impressed.
No?
Really wasn't impressed. I wasn't scared. I didn't really feel any tension. I've got tinnitus now, though, thanks to this film. Because all they were doing was going, or something bad's happening. Dread. How can we emphasize dread in the form of sound? There we go. Thank you. I was not impressed with this at all. Really disappointed. I'm really sorry. I think I will be the voice of, well, the opposite voice this time. So I'm on the other side of the fence as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, trust me. I mean, many people said on the Facebook group when it posted up as the banner that this would be one to split the group. So don't worry, it's fine. Okay. It's a Marmite film, I suspect. But anyway,
consider me on one side of the fence.
Yeah, it's the Yoko Ono of film reviews. So go on in. What about you, Dal? I mean, this was your pick, so normally you'd go last, but go on.
Wow. What yeah, what a film, eh? I'll do that whole thing of I'm not sure I should say I like it because of its subject matter, because that sounds a bit weird. But I appreciated the film. I really did. I thought it was very well made. I don't think I've seen Sean Harris in a role that I haven't liked him in. He's always been. He's quite an intense bloke. You know, I mean, I've seen some of the interviews he's done, and he doesn't smile that often. For his performance alone, that very, very convincing.
Okay, and you hadn't seen this before at all, did you?
No. But it was quite an oppressive. I think that's what they were going for anyway. You know, it's one of those sort of films that keeps you. Yeah, it keeps you off kilter when you're watching this. So, just great film.
Okay, cool. Okay then, and here we go into the two that have seen it. So, Jim, what about you? What did you think about it?
Well, this will be the fourth time watching it for me.
Right. Okay.
Because I kind of bought it sight unseen when it was released on disc, which I was glad to say. One of the time I watched the director's commentary, which is very interesting. But it is kind of, as Darren said, it's a hard film to say. Oh, I really enjoyed that. It's kind of like it's in the same category as The Elephant Man for me. I think it's a brilliant bit of filmmaking, but it's not one I'm going. What's some entertainment? I'll put on Possum. You have to be in a certain frame of mind, in a certain market for what this film is offering. And it's kind of, I do think it's quite brilliant. It's just so fucking uncompromising. It goes out its way almost to be a very unlikable film.
Yeah, definitely.
It is about alienating, and it is an alienating kind of experience. And I pity people go, oh, that Garth Marenghi's made a film. This will be funny.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. I think that's the trap that a lot of people will fall into with this one. Yeah. Okay. I mean, for me, as far as it goes, the first time I watched this, I was like, I'm not sure about this. I'll be honest with you. I found it. You could see that it was a film that was trying to tell you something. It was important in terms of it was doing everything in metaphor and all that kind of stuff. And I was just a bit like, cool, that's lovely, but God, it's not a cheerful film in any way, shape, or form. And it's not even the smallest glimmer of light. And I found the first time quite wearing. I appreciated it, but I found it wearing. The second time round, I managed to nail down why I thought it was wearing, and it's because it felt like one of those 70s PSAs, like the child, Donald Pleasance would be telling you to watch out for bright water.
That's what it was based on. The look was actually based on those films.
It felt very...
There's that and some Ghost Story from Christmas from Lawrence Gordon Clark thrown in.
Oh, right.
Really, and there's certain scenes that are kind of very like the opening titles are very similar to a really, really creepy kids show from the 70s called Shadows.
Oh yeah,
and the animation style is very like that, and it has that kind of
that sort of
but
people
that,
in the window kind of thing. Yeah,
but that kind of kitchen sink, just fucking 70s grimness. That you get in those,
with the rubber thing on the end of the tap.
Yes,
those things. Yes. Direct the water.
But it really was going for that kind of, I can think of the Scar folk sort of vibe of that kind of, patches, the finishing line, spirit of dark and lonely water.
Yeah, Scarfolk was the thing. That I think that's because that's more what. Yeah, that was exactly it. There's the Scarfolk. People are weird. Don't approach them. If you see people, tell the authorities. And I thought, oh right, okay. And I kind of dialed into it then. So the second time round, I was more into it than the first. It's still a hard film to watch and like, though. It's not a film that lures you in and goes, wow, let's have fun with this. And as you say, Jim, it's quite uncompromising.
Well, it lures you in like fucking Pennywise lures in children into a fucking sewer. That's what he does. It's that kind of thing.
Wow, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. So that's that. Yeah, I can't say I like it. I can't say I'd watch it for pleasure. By any means, and I can watch some shit, but I find myself kind of wanting and needing a shower after watching this. So there you go. Right, okay. Well, let's get into the discussion about it. I mean, Elton, obviously, you're the dissenting voice, so you're going to have to chime in a bit here, mate. Because I think the problem we're going to have is that either we're on board and we understand it and we want to go for it, or you understand it and you're just like, really, I don't get it.
Okay, well,
I mean, what was it? What was it you didn't like? I guess is probably the point.
I think I found it empty. That's the only way I can really describe it. I think I understand. It's all the trauma that he's been through in the past, isn't it? And he is just walking around carrying his baggage with him. That bag is all of his troubles and strifes that he's been through. And yet, because it was just him walking around with the bag and trying to get rid of his demons and trying to cleanse himself, nothing was there. There was no substance that I could really get into. There was nothing I could turn around and go, that's my gateway into this film to really understand it and to have a discussion. I found it void of anything. Like all the actors that were in it, they were like basically two, weren't there? And the performances were brilliant. I think it was shot well. I think it's a great movie, and I think it's good looking. I found it soulless and empty, though, I'm afraid. And so I really am struggling to find something good to grab onto on the actual story-wise, because it just felt very thin. It's a guy who's got troubles, who's had troubles in the past, who's had a terrible life up until that point. And the good thing about it is it's not really spelt out for you. You kind of work your way through it. But I found myself sitting there going, okay, when's something going to happen? Maybe that's the problem with me. I was waiting for something to happen, and it's not about something happening. It's about what is happening.
Well, I can't say I've seen it a few times. This is I think I said at the end of last week, this is a bit of a puzzle box of a film. That you aren't shown anything or told anything that isn't somehow significant. And well, once you you get into that sort of pulling at the logic of what you're being shown, where you're getting things that are out of sequence and memories and things all overlapping, and it's working out kind of what everything kind of means, and that's where it gets very interesting. And I mean, maybe we don't get the tinfoil hats out just yet, but certainly if you look online,
It won't be long, Jim.
No, probably not. There's a lot of people have a lot of really interesting interpretations of. I mean, the basics of the bones of the story, I think, do become rather clear. But there's a lot of things in the details where there's a lot of discussion online as to what really happened and what is really happening, and that I think is very fascinating.
Oh, okay.
But again, when this came up, I thought, this isn't going to be somebody's cup of tea, I guarantee.
Yeah.
And and I completely understand it because, as I say, it's bleak and very uncompromising.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, I own it, but I wouldn't say I like it. I think it's brilliant, but it is kind of like.
So I'm all for you.
It's a tough watch,
I'm all for you guys of opening my eyes as to what I'm missing on this. That's what I'm looking forward to because, it was just... I'm clearly missing something.
Well, okay then. I mean, Darren. I mean, you're the kind of halfway house now between Jim and Elton. Mm-hmm. What did you think actually happened in the film? I mean, and ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, obviously spoilers ahead, spoilers. We can't really be more clear than that. But
right,
go on,
okay.
Dal. How do you see it as actually going ahead? How do you think the story was?
Right. Okay. Well, I think you've got to look at this from two. It depends on how you look at the story. It depends on what you see in the story. Okay. On one hand, you've got the story of a guy who's been accused of something, has been turfed out of this school. He's been turned away because, or he's been fired from this position because of something involving a child. And it's mainly due to something obviously pretty dodgy. Right now, if you listen to the words of his uncle says, "You did this. You knew it was me in the mask, and you never said anything. And now they're after you." So basically, his uncle's framed him, right? And this is it's a sort of a release for him because he gets the child at the end of it. He manages to free the boy, right? He frees the boy, lets him out of the case, gets him out of there. He's become a hero, right? And the boy goes off and tells the truth.
That's interesting. Yep, go on.
You see, there's that, right? Or his uncle doesn't exist, right? And this has just been in his head because, as has been, I've been reading some stuff about this, and this is a good point. You never see his uncle talking to anybody apart from the main character. He says he's talked to the police, right? He said the police come round and I sent them away, telling them you were out. But you never actually see physical evidence of him actually speaking to anyone. Okay, so what if he's been abused throughout his life? The uncle was the abuser, and this is his battle not to become a paedophile. Okay, he's got this devil sitting on his shoulder, which is his uncle, trying to encourage him to be that way inclined. There's that whole thing of something from the jar. There's that, and are you going in? Are you going in? And it's that his uncle trying to make him feel better about stuff that he shouldn't really feel better about if he's done that, right? This is it. He should be confessing to his crime and doing the right thing. He even tries to kind of do that in one bit of it, right? You see that bit in the school when it's like he tries to get to talk to the teacher, and he says, "Can you get my old form teacher? He knows what really happened. We can go to the police and sort this out." But so it's either that first bit that I talked about there, where he's actually done a good thing and he's managed to rescue the child. He's overcome his fear of his uncle and the abuse that he's done to him, this trauma, and it's that whole thing of where he's felt ashamed about not helping the children in the past that he's obviously had in that house. This is him, that cathartic thing of breaking that fear and helping that child. So you've got that, right? Mm-hmm. But then you've got the second bit where the uncle didn't exist. He did abuse him in the past. He was a person in the past. But it's a whole thing of this is part of his psyche talking to him now. This is the crossroads that he's now facing, right? He can either go one way or the other, and he is desperately fighting against it. But the pull of the other side is so strong that it's formed itself into his uncle, and it's trying to convince him to go that way, right? It's trying to convince him to go there. And that what happens is, by the end of it, he manages to overcome that, and he still releases the child, but it was him who kidnapped the child in the first place.
If the kid was missing at all, though.
If the kid was missing at all, yeah.
Because it's very interesting. The TV just shows static, and at certain moments it cuts to a news report about this missing boy, the boy you saw on the train.
Exactly.
And I don't... If we were going down the... Morris is actually dead. And has been dead a long time. He's going back to confront, the ancient trauma, and it's where it all happened. I think when he sees the kid on the train and he's travelling back, that's when he has that temptation of the uncle, internalized uncle, egging him on. And then at certain points in the story, has this sort of narrative of a missing child sort of popping up.
Yeah.
But that is all playing out in his head. He hasn't really abducted a child. There isn't really a boy locked in a trunk in the house. It's all just part of the kind of sort of cathartic battle. Possibly. But I find it very interesting, the TV, the way it just sort of...
snaps on and then snaps
just
off.
Static. Yeah. On one hand, is it kind of literally everything is just noise to him until there's something that chimes with what he's concerned with, and then the static clears, or is it like a projection in the first place?
There is a something that I did read that was very interesting. That the main character has been gaslit so much by his uncle that it's literally, it has warped his mind. It has got him to the stage where he doesn't know what's real anymore. That maybe he isn't that way, but maybe his uncle's convinced him that he is, and he feels guilt. And
what he does is a lot of things where he's actually regressing, and like he's standing outside the school and gets moved on, and I think genuinely is just lost in his memories. But then later when he goes into the school, I think he's reliving something that happened as a kid where he did try to tell somebody and bottled out, and that's part of his guilt.
Yeah.
And he is literally reliving that physically. An interesting thing that struck me is kind of all the places he goes to get rid of Possum is where he knows his uncle has done things, or even maybe disposed of bodies in the past.
Yeah. And each time he tries to dispose of the body, and then it comes back to haunt him.
But that's if we want to get into my tinfoil hat theory of what the possum puppet is, you keep having that recurring scene where there's that bag on that tree with really weird spider leg sort of branches.
yeah,
and I think that's when he discovered as a kid what his uncle was doing. He found his uncle's bag in the woods, and there was a kid's head in it. And that image of the head and those like branches, that later becomes the possum.
Yeah. And then on top of that, the head itself is actually a copy of Philip.
Yes,
it's actually a complete copy of him, and so therefore it's him looking back at him and him realizing the problem. Realizing that he's just as likely to be in that bag as anyone else.
It's also his fear of becoming the monster, because that's in the little book he's drawn. The last frame is the possum monster, but it's his head on the body.
That's right.
It's the little boy's head. Also interesting, something I didn't pick on first watching, but the actual puppet doesn't have eyes, but in some scenes it suddenly does.
Yeah, and
things get worse.
And in one scene where it's kind of you're seeing the smoke in the room, you see the eyes actually move.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 minute they're looking straight at him, and the next minute, when the smoke passes over, they're looking straight at you. That's not nice. That's just not nice at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also think that the other thing with the spider is also, pardon me, sorry, T went down the wrong hole. Is obviously the most obvious one is the thing with Morris coming in and saying, it's time for the fingers. You want the fingers?
Oh God, yeah.
And then when you see it, the way he's fanning his hands out,
Yeah.
it is the spider's legs, isn't it? He crosses his thumbs and he's coming in with the fingers.
Yeah. There's a drawing in the book. It's just the legs come at the end of the bed, and it is like Uncle Morris's fingers. It's the same.
That's right. Yeah, because you notice that every time when Possum is supposedly chasing him around all over the place, he always comes round fingers first. It's like someone's coming around the corner of the room rather than just like it's there, and him having to face it. And then there's also that bit in the car park area where he looks like he's going to kiss it. And he just throws it away, and it's that whole thing of its repressed memories. It's and then when you see it with backlit, and it's just like a silhouette, and it's basically Morris. When you see that silhouette, it's basically him.
Okay, so it's taken 15 minutes for you to make this film miles better than what I experienced.
Well,
and right, it annoys me that I love a film where I have to dive into it and work things out, and sometimes I go over the top on films that really need working out, and everyone says I need to put a tinfoil hat on, etc. And then you get a film like this, and I'm sat there going, doing the Alan Partridge thing of, and then, but it's all there.
Yeah.
And even now, after watching all these 100 movies, this is 100th episode of this. How many episodes? I did 200.
You came on from 201.
Yeah. So I've done 300 of these and all the others. And yet I'm still sat there going, oh, fuck, I missed it. And
you can't observe everything, mate. You come at it from your own personal perspective. Yeah. There are things that you've watched.
This is an uncompromising, difficult bastard of a film to approach. To be
it's
honest.
It's not a film. It's not a film that immediately opens up and makes you want to watch it. And even if you do watch it, it's not one that makes you want to re-watch it to dive in deeper.
Well, I did watch this twice, and I did have thoughts of, okay, is the puppet there? Is it just in his head? And I was like, no, he's because he goes to burn it with his uncle there. And I was like, well, no, his uncle's seen it, so it has to be there. It has to be a thing. And I just pushed that to one side.
But that requires his uncle to actually exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I totally missed. But I'm glad about that, because then I get to chat with you guys, and you go, silly out on the other side of the fence. You ain't coming over our side of the fence now. You're staying over there.
No. There's no judgment on this one, especially. I mean, if we were talking like, I don't know, if we were talking Beverly Hills Cop and you were sitting over the other side of the fence going, no, you haven't seen the deeper meaning of why he sticks a banana up a tailpipe, then we'd have a different conversation. It'll be a different conversation and a whole heap of mocking. But it's just this is a different level. This is like going into Primer and having no experience of time travel films before this moment. You don't just that's deep water there, mate.
Well, yeah, this is proper murky, because I was trying to work out, because there's a moment where he's covered in mud and he's been rolling around in mud, and I was thinking, well, did he subconsciously kidnap the kid and put him in the box? Is that why he's dirty? And it's his mind just trying to wipe everything off, and I thought, oh, no, maybe not. And then really in the end, I just saw a man carrying a bag, trying to get rid of his problems and
trying to get rid of his baggage.
Yeah.
But not only getting rid of his baggage, but getting rid of his baggage at specific places. And then when he goes back to look for the baggage at those places, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's each time the possum changes slightly.
Now that makes a hell of a more sense than what I was thinking then.
You know, so that's the whole point, that when you first see Possum, when he comes out of the bag the first time, and you see it, and then he looks at it and he throws it in the river, doesn't he? The first time.
Yeah, I think he does.
It's in the muddy bit, and you see it in the mud, and then he walks off, and it's got no eyes. Its legs are relatively smooth. It's a lot less ragged than when you see him throw it in the fire, or when you see him put it in the bag and then throw it in the lock.
He also gets bigger as well.
Exactly.
He's like in that car park, and his legs are all spread out. He's absolutely huge at that point.
I was going to say it's about 3-4 foot across, isn't it? At that point, and it's huge. And then when you see it like hanging on his bedroom wall, it's got no eyes. But then when he starts imagining the smoke, which is a whole other thing, because I got a theory that smoke is a representation of his guilt, because I think the whole house is burnt down and water damaged.
Well, his parents
died in the fire.
Died in the fire.
Yeah.
And it could be. Did it happen on his birthday or anything like that?
Well,
there's balloons in there.
Well, I thought he did it to kill his uncle.
Well, that's one thing. I thought maybe his uncle had set the fire to get custody of him.
To get custody of the kid. Yeah. But there was a number of different interpretations of that, but that's also... and I think maybe you're right there, Jim, that the uncle was more involved with the fire and making him feel like... It's that gaslighting thing again, of making him feel like he's responsible for the fire which killed his parents. Because... that's what the black balloons represent. It represents a corruption, because it goes from colourful, lovely, bright balloons, and then they all just go black. With the smoke, smoke goes across them, and then they're black. Yeah. And then there's also the possum rhyme, which Morris tells him when he's a kid, and there is a line in the rhyme, and I can't remember the rhyme. I wish I could.
Well, I have got the full text of that little book.
Well, go for it.
If you want it,
yeah, go for it, Jim.
All right. Mother, father, what's afoot? Only possum, black as soot. Mother, father, where to tread? Far from possum and his head. Here's a bag, now what's inside? Does he seek or does he hide? Can you spy him deep within? Little possum, black as sin. Bag is open, growing wider. What's inside it? Man or spider? Little boy, don't lose your way. Possum wants to come and play. Look at Possum, there he lies. Children meet his lifeless eyes. See his nasty legs and tongue. When he wakens, watch him run. Wait a while, my little child, for what is playing dead? Possum with his black balloons will eat you up in bed. Happy Valley painted black, all the children in a sack. Wave goodbye to sun and moon. Say hello to black balloon. The parcel's open, out it sprang, the black-legged, long-legged possum man. Children run, he'll eat and smother any child without a mother.
Fucking hell. Good night, everybody.
Well, rather, you'll probably be staying up for a while after that.
Teletubbies.
I know, I will.
Teletubbies. Jesus
don't think of Teletubbies.
Yeah. Well, there you go. How you feeling about it now, Elton?
I feel differently about Jack and Ori, definitely.
Holy shit.
That was the most terrifying CBeebies I've ever fucking witnessed.
Yeah, right.
There was also a moment where I forget the guy's name now, sorry. But he was...
Philip.
Philip was confronting Morris.
Mm.
And he was saying, why didn't you burn, Morris? Why didn't you burn? So that could suggest he set the fire, or he's so trapped in his head, that's why he doesn't burn. Why couldn't he burn him? Maybe maybe Philip was trying to get rid of a memory of Morris. And he was so confused, he ended up killing his mother and father by accident.
Well, this is another one of those things. It's like, do you subscribe to the idea that he set the fire, he's feeling guilty that his fire to kill Morris resulted in the death of his parents and Morris getting hold of him? Or do you go the other way and go full on sort of like, I don't know. Is it like there's a Victorian film, a Victorian story which is very similar, which is that whole thing of the guy kills the parents to get at the child for inheritance or whatever, and and that you can subscribe to that idea as well. In which case, Morris making up that possum story, and also being a puppeteer himself, or making puppets.
Well, it's that idea of that passing on the craft.
Passing on the craft.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of in more ways than one.
Yeah. And another thing which I got, and I will not admit to knowing this before I looked it up, but I went on Reddit and on the movie Reddit, and one of them is like a movie theories thing. And you get people just coming out. Well, it should be sponsored by Baco Foil, to be quite frank. But every now and again, there's a little gem that floats to the top. And one of them was that the shall we say, the slang in as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, people who are from these territories, but people from Australia and New Zealand and South Africa and a few other places often referred to paedophiles as rock spiders.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either, and it could just be bullshit, so I'm not speaking from any position of authority here. But I did a quick Google of that as a term, as a slang term, and it did come up a couple of times, and I don't know if that's just cross-referencing that particular Reddit thread or what. But if that's the case, then you suddenly see Possum as not only being his emotional baggage he's trying to get rid of, but it's the emotional baggage of Morris that he's trying to get rid of. And also that, the symbol of this spider is also the symbol of basically an abuser. And, of course, Morris with his fingers. And it just kind of mixes that all together into this abhorrent thing that's behind Philip's face.
Well, can I add another? If we're gonna go real tinfoil hat,
at this point, just pull a sheet off, pull up a chair, and we're here now. We're here now.
Crinkle away, Darren. Crinkle away.
Crinkle away, and what's
Come
left?
inside the tinfoil teepee.
Yes.
Let's strip away another layer of that onion.
I tell you what, tinfoil teepee is definitely a section that should be on the old cast. We should have had that conspiracy theory section for any film we watch. Tinfoil teepee.
Well, let's take a look at the whole thing of puppeteer. Okay, what if they weren't actually puppeteers? Okay, what if it's a metaphor for let's see now, for control, right? For manipulation, right? Okay, and his uncle was obviously very good at manipulation.
Well, he's very good at poetry. That possum film was fucking awful.
Indeed. And he says to Philip, oh, that was what you were best at, manipulation. So maybe there is a hint that he's actually had a hand in his uncle's crimes in the past. Right? And this whole thing with the puppet is just the metaphor for that, for manipulation. For this sort of, what do they call people like that? Narcissism sort of thing, that it goes in with the whole sort of, what's it, the gaslighting thing.
Are you talking about Stockholm Syndrome, where people start to sympathise with their abusers? Sort
of that. I mean, you even see him try to comfort Philip at one point to try and get him, to really kind of fuck with him, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, what if he isn't a puppeteer in the sense of, you know, using puppets? He means manipulation. What if that is the whole
Yeah,
puppeteer?
it's
Sorry,
just, yeah, that's fine.
I really must stop smoking a whole bowl. I really must.
I think there's a lot of layers to that, because there's kind of impression I get, the scandal Philip was involved him doing a puppet show with that damn possum puppet and scaring the life out of some kids.
Yeah.
And basically they said they'll have me back if I get rid of it. It's more or less a line in it. Then later on, Morris gets him to tell the story of the fox. And then later after that, Morris says how he went into the school. So, you know, and because he was friends with all the teaching staff. And, you know, he put a scare into those kids who had bullied Philip. And it was kind of sort of Philip's possum act. He was kind of Morris said, he's coming round. He's inheriting my skills, you know, but that kind of manipulation through terror.
Yeah, well, also that's also the whole thing, because I thought initially that was the first clue to me that Morris doesn't exist, because there's a scene with Philip outside the house when he sees the fox. He just sees a fox.
Yes.
And then the very next scene is him going into Morris and Morris going, "Tell me about the fox." And it's like, I suddenly thought, hang on, why is he bringing that up now? Why is that just suddenly coming out of nowhere? Does he know about the fox? Or is it Philip knowing about the fox and then projecting that forward into the sort of, you know, into the Morris id, shall we say? Go on.
Can I ask about the jar of sweets then, please?
Okay. Yes. Yep. Go on.
Are they just? Is that a way of him drugging his victims, or what? Is this the way I saw it? Is you could have a situation where Philip was bringing home other school friends. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. And then these sweets were fed to them, and you know where it goes from there. Am I right in thinking that, or is this a totally different thing? Because he does have a moment of blackness, doesn't he, on one of these?
I think that's more the disjointed narrative, but you're not the only person to wonder if those sweets were drugged and part of Morris's quote-unquote work, as he calls it in the last scene. I
think that's right, you know. I think
but I also think that they were like a perverse treat after he'd abused Philip. Here, you can have a sweetie now, lad. You were good, you kept quiet.
Yeah,
and it's not. It's also not a coincidence that the sweets in that jar are the big round ones, which commonly in Britain are called gobstoppers.
Whereas my take on that jar, I mean, I do take. I'm not saying that your ones are wrong, because mine could just be as easily complete bollocks. But my thing was that was an act of. How can I put it? It was an act of breaking Philip. That Philip took, Philip wanted sweets because he was a kid. And so Morris would give him sweets which weren't really sweets. I don't know. Let's say, for argument's sake, that they were Tide Pods. Yeah? And so then he was like, "Oh, have a sweet. It makes you, the kid eats it, it makes him sick." And so what it is like an aversion therapy. That one or two of these sweets would be nice. Maybe one was nice, but another one could just as easily be awful, like a Russian roulette thing. And it breaks his spirit, because eventually, even if he knows that there's a chance that I might get a nice one, there's just as easily a chance where I'm going to eat a fucking Tide Pod, or whatever it is, a salt sweet or something, whatever it was. And so then it's like another level of breaking your spirit, isn't it? It's the temptation of something that's there that you want, but it could adversely affect you, and so therefore you want it, but you don't want it, if you know what I mean. It's that put a starving man in a room with some rotten food. How long will it go before he decides to eat it? Knowing that it could make him sick and make him worse. And it's a torture method.
Do you know what? I've thought of something else as well where that's concerned.
Go
Here we
on.
go. I'm smoked some more of the bowl.
Yeah. Pass it over.
Yeah. He keeps asking Philip, right? Something from the jar. Well, what if these sweets are drugs, right? And what if this is the question he used to ask him before abusing him sexually? Do you want to be conscious or do you want to be unconscious? That's the only choice he had in that situation.
Which again brings about that whole thing of willing participation.
Yeah, exactly. It's that whole thing of, well, you agreed to it. You know you liked it. You know you did. It's just like,
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't even bear thinking about. That's a kind of level of abuse I can't even wrap my head around the concept of something like that. It's just like, yay, fucking yay. In which case, do we have to worry about Matt Holness? Do we have to put him on a list somewhere? But, yeah, I was going to say, so, I mean, the last thing I was going to say was the whole thing with which kind of comes back to me thinking that he did actually abduct the kid, was that once he puts Morris away, and just before he does that, you notice that he no longer has Possum with him, because the last time you see Possum is when he burns it, or it's on the wall, isn't it? When it goes up in smoke and it's on the wall.
No, it's when he's outside after he's released the kid.
That's right. Sorry, yes, yeah, it's on his. Yeah, he puts it on his lap, and that's right. He embraces it and he accepts it. Once he's accepted it, Possum's gone for like the last 15, 20 minutes of this film, whereas it's been in every conceivable frame, whether it's in the bag, it's in the background, it's always there. But then all of a sudden, once he hugs it in that car park area, it's gone. It's completely gone. And then once he goes in and Morris attacks him, he gets rid of Morris, and then finally he lets the kid go.
Yep.
Symbolically, that is freeing your inner child, I guess. You know, you've released him. But the other thing I was going to say was, or the kid's a symbol that he actually kidnapped the kid because, you know.
Yeah, and it's his battle to fight against taking it to the next stage.
Exactly, taking it to the next step.
And this is like him beating that and not going completely over to the dark side.
It's like a much, much darker version of that scrapyard scene in Superman 3.
Wow. That's like getting on that's
well, if we're all going to have tinfoil hat moments,
do you know what? That's like, I think you are the epitome of British understatement when they actually mean something a lot worse.
Yeah.
You know, like you've lost an arm. Oh, you all right? Yeah, well, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
tis but a scratch.
Smarts a little bit, but you know, I've got to say, it could be worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fucking hell! But I'm never gonna. Oh, thanks for that.
I
really enjoyed that film at all, but you know,
I've ruined Superman 3. You're welcome.
No, I think Superman 3 ruined Superman 3, but yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what then, considering we're on this tip, is there anything else you want to ask us about it, Elton? See if we can carry on answering these questions, because I think this is probably the best way through it.
I'm trying to think now, because you have filled up the movie. You know, I said it was empty. I think that's where I wasn't. I could see a man with problems, and he was trying to work his way through problems. And you guys explaining what was going on has kind of filled up all that emptiness I had in this movie. And that is honestly the only way I could describe it. And now that makes more sense with the chase scene, shall we say, where he's walking through and he's got is it the police after him? I suppose they're shining the torches through the light, through the windows, and then when he's in the garage as well, he's hiding away, and then the possum is chasing him around and it creeping around the corners and sticking his head. It's always in his head, isn't it? He's not seeing these things for real. It's just in his head.
There's another metaphor. That's another metaphor for something else, apparently, which is you can't escape your past, and that possum in this instance is Philip's past. And no matter which way he goes, no matter where he turns, possum always manages to turn up, like creeping round the corner.
From a purely practical point of view, for the moment, stepping away from all the metaphors and all that kind of thing, what did we think of possum when it started moving and sticking its head round corners?
Fucking creeped the shit out of me. It really did. I sat there. It's like, fuck me. Has somebody turned off the summer? Because I've got shivers going up there my spine. I'm sweating, and it's just like my body only reacts like this when I'm cold. What's going on? You bastard.
What about you, Elton?
I felt nothing. Strange. I think it is because I was trying to work out other things. I was concentrating on other things and knew that it would be a kind of creepy thing, that it went on the back burner for me, unfortunately. And I'm not creeped out by it.
I think. What about you, Jim?
I thought it was really just like, get that thing the fuck away from my dreams.
Kill it with fire. Yes. Oh, we tried that earlier. It didn't work.
I mean, I was going to say, for me, it was one of those things that it would kind of... There were moments where I felt it was too cynical. I was sitting there going, if there's anything that's going to scare the fuck out of you, it's going to be a white face with no eyes and a spider. And you combine those two, it's like the Transformers... what those Constructicons of horror. It's like take all these bits and just slap them together and make something much more horrible. And sometimes it worked. Like when it stuck its head round the corner the first time, I was just like, nope, I'm out. Peace out. Thank you very much indeed. And then there were other times, like when it steps out the bag, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, fine. But I think it's one of these. It's like any movie monster. It's one of those things where if it's filmed right and the atmosphere is right, it'll do an absolute wallop, and you'll be like, yeah, okay, fine. I'm down with never looking at that thing ever again. And then, but it's like Salem's Lot. You know, if you see old Mr. Barlow, the first time you see him or you see the kid floating outside the window, you're like, nope, fucking nope. Thank you very much. Close the curtains, go, and let's just hum the soundtrack to the Tweenies. Thank you. But then by the time you hit the end and Mr. Barlow's flying about like a bat on a piece of string being thrown around a fucking swing ball, you're like, yeah, it's a vampire. But yeah, possum. I think the thing that got me was possum in the car park. When, as you say, Jim, when you see him and he's about 3 foot across, and he's just like, it's such a weird tableau. It's got that 1970s. You know, you almost expect Donald Pleasance to start telling you to avoid jumping in the water, and I'm just like, fuck that, right in the ear. The bit when his head came around the corner the first time, and then the bit when it's at the end of the bed, and it's just sitting at the end of the bed, because I tell you what, I have an absolute fear of a white face just hovering in the darkness at the end of your bed. That's it for me. Thank you. I'm out. Peace. Good night.
Oh man, I wonder if Matthew Holness was a Cure fan at all, because it's the whole thing about the Spider-Man. Because the Spider-Man is having you for dinner tonight. And I feel as though I'm being eaten by 1,000 billion furry holes. And
Sorry?
the Spider-Man is always hungry. The bit about the Spider-Man being at the foot of your bed. Closer now, closer to the foot of your bed.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds me of that, of Lullaby.
yeah.
By Cure.
Okay. I don't even want to think about that.
Oh man, yeah, that's a real happy song. That is.
Yeah. But anyway, so it was in places it was nightmare fuel. In other places it felt like it was trying too hard. But for the most part, yeah, effective is probably the best way of putting it.
I'm glad it didn't turn into massive jump scares or anything like that, though.
Oh, except for when Morris comes out of the corner of the room.
With the fucking mask on.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, I suppose. But they could have used the possum creature for jump scares. You know, it all of a sudden just jumping out at you, and you're like, "What? No, it wouldn't have felt right." I don't think it wouldn't. It's not that kind of movie. No, it is a thinker. I'm kind of really digging on these two people in a room type movies where you're just talking and have to really pay attention to the dialogue. And I think we've done a couple recently which really have worked so well. And I'm full of joy that now you guys have taught me about this, but gutted that I missed it as well.
No, it's all right. You can go back and watch it a third time. Yeah.
Nah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Because now it'll be different. Now I'll watch it again,
and
it'll be totally different. I've got the IMDb page up, and it's showing the trailer for it. And I realise, you know, when you have that beautiful shot of looking down on Philip, and he looks up, and all that black water just drips on him. That is that's from the house fire, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they're putting off the house fire. Now I get it. Okay.
That's the symbolism of him remembering the water coming through the ceiling after he's burnt the house down. Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole thing. It's just
what about it? What? Because the box was underneath the floorboards, wasn't it? So maybe the fire was set and he was underneath the floorboards.
Likely, quite likely. I mean,
hidden away.
Yeah. Maybe trying to kill himself. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was suicide, an attempt at suicide.
Possibly, yeah.
And he survived. Morris survived. His parents died.
See, now you can see and hear the working out that I'm trying to do to try and push something in, and I'm just pushing it a little bit too too far that I shouldn't be. But it could be, you know, he maybe was, because there has to be some sort of significance. Why was the chest underneath the floorboards? There was a room there. And so maybe that was the hidden room where Morris did all of his little things. And they were dragged to, and the fire happened, and then the water was drenched, and it all started dropping on him through the floorboards.
Yeah, definitely. That's as definitely as likely as anything. I mean, you know, like I say, there's that whole thing of him just like sort of sitting there crying while the black rain rains on him. Yeah. And it's just, it's just. Anyway, does anybody have anything else they want to bring up about this? Just because I don't, otherwise it will just be me going on about various bits and bobs. But I think
I'm all right. I think I'm done. Yeah.
Darren?
I'll just say that the moment he let the kid out of the box as the end was when the oppressiveness for me just suddenly vanished. And it was as if it was like a release. It was like a, phew. That was it. Yeah, phew. It was like the most.
That's a quote for the poster. Phew. Yeah. Darren Barnard, Black Dog Podcast.
It really was. It's just, I don't know. It's, him doing a good thing.
But is it
not-
a good thing? If it
don't
really was
know.
him, if it really was him capturing that kid, and
Your
it could
own-
have just so gone the wrong way, and he would have ended up killing the kid and pulling the teeth out and all that kind of nonsense.
Well, we'll never know, will we?
Mm.
That's the thing.
I know.
So we
On
have
this
to go with what
viewing,
we
I
believe.
felt that scene was kind of the way he lets the kid out the box. It was almost like a magic trick. And I thought the lighting was really interesting. It was almost like a spotlight on the box, like it was a magic trick. Which the more I think, the first few times that I watched it, I assumed there was a real kid in the box. This time, I'm really not so sure.
Yeah.
And the like about this, I think the kid was just in his mind. It was a scenario. What in one trouser leg of time, as Terry Pratchett would put it, he's carrying on his uncle's quote unquote work. But in this one, he triumphs against that, and that was like a symbolic thing of not just freeing himself as much as an actual child. But
Well,
I said this time round, it looked very unreal. There's something about it.
Yeah, he just suddenly pops up and runs off, and it kind of feels very anticlimactic. The kid doesn't even really, almost really acknowledge him, just kind of ins and outs, and that's it. One quick question then. If we, for argument's sake, accept that Morris might not be real, just for a second, and we're in some way that kid is either real or not in the bag, or in the trunk, sorry. Whose teeth are they in the pot?
I'm thinking they're previous victims.
Which then brings about another question. If they're previous victims, Morris is dead, the house was burnt down. Is this, we make a natural assumption that everything's happening linearly and over the course of like a couple of days. But does Philip come back, go to the house, stay there? Shit happens in the first blackout. Lots of shit happens in the first blackout. And the next time we see him, he no longer has that trench coat thing. And he's then dealing with Possum. And the first thing he does when he walks into that house was almost go into that room. When suddenly Morris goes, "Oh, you're going in, are you?" All I'm saying is, has Philip been a very naughty boy already before we get in the interim between meeting the kid, seeing the kid, getting off the train, going to the house, we get the blackout, and then Possum appears on his bed, and he throws Possum off the bed in a moment that made me go, "Oh God!" And then after that, and all the time he's wearing that trench coat. Then suddenly it jumps, and then Morris starts to appear more and more, and Possum starts to hunt him down, and he's trying to do all sorts of things to get rid of Possum.
So these events happen because he has like a blackout and goes through.
Takes out a kid, and that kid that's missing, the one that's in the trunk. Yeah, he does exist in Philip's mind, but he's already dead.
It's already gone. That's a thinker.
Because that's the other thing I was trying to get round to, was the fact that you get no passage of time. You get absolutely no passage of time. Only that he's carrying a bag, he meets the kid on the train, he goes back to the house, Morris isn't there, then all of a sudden, next time we see him, he's gone back to the house again, he's got Possum, he goes to go into the room, and that's when Morris is reintroduced. That's when he's firstly introduced. He goes to open that door, and that's when Morris appears and goes, "Oh, you're going back in, are you? You're going to kill it." And we assume that he's talking about Possum.
Interesting.
Is he talking about Possum, or is he talking about the poor sod who's in that room between the blackout and him going into that room?
Yeah,
Could be.
Because
we
when
have to take everything that Morris says as Philip talking to Philip, really, don't you?
Yeah. And then on top of that, when Philip finally goes in, he goes in and he picks up a little jar and it's full of teeth. So when you see the kid at the end get out of the box, the kid might be the actual kid who died, and getting out is a symbolic thing.
I said the jar, though, because it could have been Morris's jar.
But
it's just been adding to it.
Which then brings about the next question, which is kind of like, the police are looking for him almost instantly with no real reason to do it. That's the thing. He turns up at the school once. Well, he turns up twice, actually. But he turns up at the school the first time. The teacher tells him to piss off. And it's like, why? Because he's already turned up once already. That's the point. Something's tipped that teacher off. So what happened? You didn't see it.
Well,
I also could be though. There is a missing kid and a teacher. There's a strange man hanging around the gates. I'll go and move him on.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's entirely likely. But the point is that once he's seen the teacher, you get shots of or flashbacks or possibly blackout flashbacks of him in that sort of disused garage on the military estate with the police flipping around. Why are the police looking for him? Why has the teacher told him to fuck off? Literally, seemingly out of nowhere. And it's because between...
The police come to the house as well.
Exactly. And why does that all happen when there's absolutely no reason for it to happen? Because it happens between the moment when Philip gets to the house, he blacks out, he throws Possum off the bed. Next time you see him, he's got Possum in the bag. He gets rid of Possum. He's got Possum in the bag. He comes back to the house, and then he goes into that room. And as he goes to go in that room, that's when Morris first appears. It's literally just his blackout talking to him, and the first thing he says is, "Are you going to kill it?" And the first thing we think is, it's Possum he's talking about. But he never talks about Possum until he actually sees it. And he says, "Oh, you're going to show me it? How does its legs work?" And it's just like, okay. So, and then when you get to the end and he finds the teeth in the jar, if that house had been burnt down and if Morris doesn't really exist, who put the teeth there?
With the police, though, wouldn't they just be searching random places anyway? There's a burnt down house where maybe a paedophile used to live. They possibly know about that already. They probably possibly know about Morris, and he's been killed in a fire or dead. See, now I'm pushing it too far again. But
no,
then,
you're not.
But
That's
then
the thing.
The police are going around his old haunting grounds because they missed out on it last time, so they're going around and checking all the other places that they didn't check first time round.
Whereas if Morris is dead, there's been reports there's been a man seen in that derelict house. Well, I think that the timeline is that I think Philip's parents died, and that because it's in the Possum rhyme about the Possum man getting his child without the mother, and it's the idea after he loses his parents in the fire, that's when he's in the clutches of Uncle Morris for a time. And I think Morris has died at some point after the fire. If we take it that Morris isn't real, right? Obviously. But I think there is that. So in the text, as it were, there's enough clues to give you to lock those little bits of the timeline down. And so the house, I think it started in the living room. And I know the film is very subtle, but I think it's set in December because it's like there's snow on the ground. And he said, "Oh, you're home for the holidays." And so possibly the fire happened at Christmas. So I got the balloons, it was like a birthday, but equally it could be Christmas party.
Yeah.
Gone horribly wrong as well.
Could be any. Yeah, it could be.
Mm.
Would also match the colour scheme as well. Gold and white.
So yeah. But I think the house, not all the house burned, and so I suspect that I have a feeling that Philip and his uncle lived in that burned house with that front room kept like that, almost like as a ghastly shrine. But also it was kind of a convenient place for his uncle to work because Philip wouldn't go in there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that if you had a fire that actually gutted an entire house like that, I mean, and I know it didn't gut it completely to the point of being unlivable, but it's not in a good condition. You're telling me the fire brigade wouldn't be all over that house entirely just to put it out, or the police to check out the fire wasn't deliberately caused, and you know what I mean? There would have been an investigation, and so those teeth in that jar have to have appeared since the fire.
Or they could be.
It could be other things in the house that are suspect as well. If you notice in the hallway, there's a child's school bag and a skipping rope hung up on the hooks by the door.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, now that's fucking creepy.
It's kind of a relic from Philip's past, or are they Morris's trophies?
Yeah.
Hidden in plain sight.
Yeah. And like I say, you don't see Morris until Philip goes and touches that door, and he doesn't touch that door until he's seen Possum on his bed once. So that's the fears and the anxieties and all the horror coming back to him. At least that's my take on it. Anyway, so maybe Philip's actually is a murderer, and maybe he has gone that bad, but he's casting himself as the hero in his mind by releasing a kid that's already gone. So there you go. Anyway, I think on that cheery note, I think we'll draw it to a close. Unless anyone's got any burning theories they want to bring out and slap down in Lars's knockings, but I think, otherwise, let us know what you think. Watch this cheery film, see it in the sunlight, possibly with a happy film off to one side. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, anything, just not up, maybe.
The news reporter, you kept getting news flashes on the TV. She's actually the news reporter for Look East.
Well,
we get her on our TV.
Nice.
Nice. Just a nice little thing that I noticed.
Nice. Well, you're actually close enough to go and visit the locations for this place.
Well, yeah, I saw that tree, that spider-looking tree. I was like, I wouldn't mind trying to find out where that is.
Yeah, take one of your spooky tellies from the loft.
Yes, I'll do that.
You never know. Maybe it'll switch on as you get close.
like dowsing rods, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Just try and find the creepy ley lines. The creepy ley lines of Norfolk. Anyway, yeah, so if anyone else, has seen this film, wants to have a little chat about it, wants to pull apart our theories or our discussions, then by all means throw up your thoughts underneath the episode on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast, or hit us up on Twitter, which is @BlackDogPodcast, or send us in an email, which is feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. Right, before we get on to Pimp's Corner, it's time now to wrap it up and ask Jim to tell us, going on to a bright new future of episode 101, which could be brighter than anything else we've seen today, or we've talked about today. Even if it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre again, I'm sure that it would still be a brighter film than the one we've just watched. But anyway, Jim, it's your choice. Taking us into the next century, what do you got for us?
Do you want something conventional, or do you want something weird?
Well, I tell you what.
How are we feeling after Possum?
I was going to say, given that Elton was a little bit thrown out by Possum, how do you feel? So you can make the choice, Elton.
Oh God, no! Don't put it on my
shoulders.
No.
No. Jim's given us the option of conventional, non-conventional. Darren picked Possum. I'm happy either way because Jim always comes up with interesting choices. So over to you, Elton. Make the choice.
Oh man!
Choose the form of the destructor.
Shit. Let's go weird.
Okay then. Right, this is a movie which was written and directed by William Peter Blatty.
Oh, here we go.
Who wrote The Exorcist. It's based on his own novel called Twinkle, Twinkle, Killer Kane. And it's called The Ninth Configuration.
Wow.
Which is about an officer sent to sort out a military asylum.
Oh, good Lord.
Holy crap.
I have seen it before, and it's a very strange kind of movie.
You're not wrong there, Jim. I've seen this film only once, and it was on BBC Two.
It was a movie drome.
Yeah, it was movie drome. Yeah, with Alex Cox. And I will be perfectly honest, I didn't make it through the whole thing. I don't think my brain was ready for it. But I'm looking forward to seeing it this time, because I've heard it mentioned a couple of times in other places. So the ninth configuration, eh? I'm gonna ask the question, but I think I know the answers. Darren, have you seen or heard of the ninth configuration?
Oh, yeah, watch it every other Sunday, that's me. Yeah. No, I fucking haven't, not at all. And I think I'd remember something like this.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. And what about you, Elton?
No, I'm afraid I haven't, no.
Okie dokie. And Jim, are you looking forward to watching it?
I am. I saw it on Movie Drome. I have seen it since. In the 90s, where I appreciated a lot more, having read kind of things like and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and sort of similar sort of works, and sort of got, I can't see what they're doing. It's a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah. Darren, you know that bong bowl you was smoking on before?
Yeah.
For the theory.
Is this going to have to be a bong mixing bowl?
Yeah, I was going to say you might want one about 4 foot wide, lots of straws, and we can all just have a communal moment, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
4-way hookah.
Yeah, sorry. Hold on. Excuse me. Right. And on that note, I think we'll leave it there. So, before we go, let's go around the table for Pimp's Corner. So, Jim, what's going on in your neck of the woods on hypnagoria.com?
Well, currently I'm continuing my history of Universal Horror, getting to the final days of the famous monsters. And computer fuck-up's going well. I might actually get a story out, which I was meant to release last week if I hadn't found myself machineless for a few days.
In God, right, yeah. Okie dokie, and that's all over at hypnagoria.com, yeah?
It is indeed.
And your Patreon for anyone who wants to pay for a plumber?
That's patreon.com/hypnagoria2.
There you go. Right.
Or I have a Ko-Fi as well if you want that.
Oh, coffee. All right, cool.
Coffee, yeah.
Yeah, all right, okay. So it's just ko-fi.com/hypnagoria, yeah?
Yeah, more or less. All the links are on my website.
Fantastic. Get on over there.
Find everything there. One-stop shop.
There you go. We don't want Jim disappearing from our airwaves again with a dodgy computer. Get over there and drop him a couple of shekels. Right. And Elton.
I haven't done anything much, really. I think because of holidays and families and really lost my mojo. So I will get on that, though, because Darren was squeaking earlier on about certain things.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Darren's therapy session is going to be a great episode.
Yeah. I'll
Angry
have my
man
people.
shouts at cloud.
I'll have my people talk to your people, and we'll arrange something.
Figure some shit out.
That's the whole point of that episode, isn't it? For you to figure some shit out.
Basically, yeah, it'll be an episode. It's Green Room episode. That's all it is.
That's right. Yeah. Cool. And that's all over at rogue2media.com. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Real. Darren, are you on anything apart from mescaline?
I was going to say horse tranquilizers.
Here's some cat.
Indeed, yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not on anything at all.
Okie dokie. Fair enough. For me, nothing at the moment. Though I will say for Twitter people, please be aware that once I finally get my old whack-on thing going proper and drawing for pleasure again, my art station will start filling up, and I will move all my personal shit off the Black Dog podcast Twitter feed to the newly minted and hidden away Cartoon Beardy again, as I go for a bit of shameless self-promotion and desperate need for affirmations from random people that I don't know. Right. For my ego. It's all for my ego. But it ain't happened yet, so don't go looking for it. It's just, it'll happen soon enough. And that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening for what is undoubtedly going to be an epic length episode. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Owen. And yep, okay. And,
Go on, Darren.
Yeah, don't worry. Yep. It's cool. It's cool. And so we'll see.
Here.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week. We should be recording on Wednesday rather than Tuesday because, believe it or not, I'm going to draw Ladies in the Nude, but only lit by neon and black lights on Tuesday.
Oh, nice.
Yes, there you go. So I'm doing that on Tuesday, so we won't be recording until Wednesday. So yes, so we'll see you next Wednesday for the 9th configuration. It's going to be a doozy. Until that time, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you all soon. Till then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.